choice. Big fan of a lot of these layouts here, Coz. Any of them stand out to you?
Oh man, listen, first of all, it's great because when you have Deadpool and you can even rep the title like Fantastic or Immortal Deadpool going into your ranked games, and people don't know which one you're playing, right? The best of them will be rocking the esports scene, and I feel like if 100 Thieves wins today, they're going to end it with, hey, one more thing. Can I get one more thing? Buy 100 Thieves bundle, right? Buy all the bundles. Swamp Gaming, as well as obviously Team Liquid Citadel, all just repping the best up here at the top. Cool to see. Funny enough, actually, we got to get more for these teams that continue to shine, my man. But either way, it has been fun to see more and more of this collaboration of the esport come together here with the scene. And man, I gotta say, obviously these matchups, they write themselves. I always say the gameplay speaks for itself, but it's great to see all the watch parties going on out there, right? We got a lot of fans and people just checking out the scene with their favorite content creators and just getting an eye on their view, their opinion, because it's like a marathon, man. It goes all day long from EMEA here to America.
Yeah, I mean, and if you are watching watch parties, I'm sure you are no stranger to seeing our interviewee who's coming up here in a moment, J3, who's been essentially king of the watch party up there at the top of that list for quite some time.
For sure. They had to delay it for a second to adjust the brightness on the top of the skull there. Oh, hello, J3. What's going on, buddy? We're glad to have you here, my man.
I'm doing fantastic until you said all that, man. I did have to turn down the brightness now.
I'm glad, bud. It's good to have you.
Yeah, turn on the brightness and add like a couple ducks in the background. Just a few of them in the background there, Jay. First question for you. First off, you're no stranger to competition as a whole. You've been watch partying like a champion. How today shakes, I want to get your take on how is this whole tournament going to shake out to you. First, we're going to start off here with Swamp Gaming versus 100 Thieves. How do you think that's going to end?
Ooh, well, I called it with YWL if they banned, I'm pretty sure iRemix is probably watching my stream, but I called it if they banned Daredevil. We all saw what happened with YWL. I think Team Liquid Citadel was on the right track, banning Wolverine. If they ban Wolverine, I kind of want to see what Swamp Gaming does to, counter that.
Yeah, I'd love to see it, man. That whiteboard has been perfection behind you for the most part. I think some with channel points would argue otherwise, but you've been nailing, from what I've seen, been doing a pretty good job. Listen, I want to ask you this, right? The teams are one thing, but I want to talk about the specific players on your list. Okay, we've heard the question, if you would make a content creator team, that's great. I want to know about pro player team. Like if you could draft, your tank, your off tank, your duelist, your flex duelist, your strategist, who would you put together for a dream team?
Okay, so there was some discussion here with my chat, but so my tanks, I would probably have Vess and Polly as my front line. I'm trying to make sure they don't overlap the same hero pool, so it would be Vess and Polly. You could also change Polly with Trust Me if you want as well. My DPS would probably be Terra and Speedery. I think that's probably the best two in my opinion. And then for supports, I would probably do Saipei and level 1 Crook. And if you want to change out level 1 Crook with someone, you could always do Cooper as well. I think those are going to be that's my dream team right there. If I couldn't add myself.
Or face of Team Liquid Citadel. That was like 75% Team Liquid Citadel there, Shib.
Yeah, no, nice peppering at the end, a little confidence boost for the Three Musketeers here. Yo, real quick, another question I have. I mean, first off, you didn't answer so you said Thieves moving forward, right? Who do you think wins at the end there, TLC and Thieves, before I keep moving forward?
Ooh. Well, I mean, it's still going to be a battle with, Swamp Gaming and 100 Thieves. I don't know. In my prediction list, I have Swamp Gaming going forward, but in the end, I do think Team Liquid Citadel is going to, be the best. And I do want to see Team Liquid Citadel against Navi. I think that would be cinema.
Okay, I cannot wait for Lance. But yeah, all right, now just piggybacking further. So you've been no stranger to competition, like I'd mentioned. You were in the World Cup, and you actually took the USA, the Team America, all the way to second place. Can you walk us through that experience? I know there's a lot of nerves and stuff that come into this. Just break down your entire experience in such an event.
Ooh, dude, I love competing. I wish there was more creator events, but it's really fun getting together with a lot of people. I'm gonna be honest with you, I think a lot of people can agree with me. Once you play in a tournament or like organized play, it is horrible to go back to ranked. But sitting with my team, going over strats, going over what we're gonna do each map or what we're gonna ban, it's just so much fun. And then like I said, at the end of the day, I know when it's over, going back to rank is just a miserable time.
Listen, man, I can agree with that. I think the more you add into your comp, like the better, like the more people you have, and then it just makes it so different, the way that comps go. And maybe next time you take over the portal duties, and you guys might be escaping first place there. But hey, we all know Silky did a great job. Anyway, moving on. Hey, listen, I want to ask you this because you've done a good job, my 5'5" king, with watching EMEA and America, and I want to ask, because you've watched both so much, like, break down the gameplay and the skill level between the two. Do you think America's finally going to win their first LAN and representation? What are some things you want to highlight between the two regions?
Ooh, you know what? Boger said EMEA was going to win, so I'm going to have to root for my NA team, man. I think, Team Liquid Citadel, what they put together over there is going to be... They're a great team. And I think when it comes LAN, they're going to bring it home. The biggest difference, though, I think... Man, that's gonna be a tough one here. You threw me a curveball here. I can't really give you on the top of my head, man. Oh, hey, man,
it's all right. You have the same performance in Mario Party. It's not like we're in like kind of known territory here. Shit, you got another question for him as we're talking about shocking heroes?
Oh,
I got this one. I'll throw him for a loop.
Yeah, you saw that?
That was a great time right there, Bubba. Yeah. He's a good boy, but hey, I'll throw this one a little bit different here. And first, I'll ask Cozy this question, give you time to think about it, because I like how this would break down. I was obviously stoked to see Groot in the limelight yesterday a ton. You know me, Jay, big Groot fan, right? So it was really cool to see him play by the top teams. Are there any heroes that you guys are surprised to see that have been showing up more in this tournament? Cozy, you go first. Let Jay think about it for a second.
Oh, yeah. I thought this meta was going to bring some different looks in the meta for sure. And I've been preaching the good gospel of the Human Torch, and we start to see more and more. Maybe a flash in the pan here and there, but there's a couple of maps where like he really shines to either get the quick pick or kind of act as a bunker hero. And so for me, it's been nice to see like the return of Speedery on Torch and the return of him on Central Park. Like that's jumped out to me as someone who's put a lot of hours into him this season.
Beautiful. I completely agree. Seeing the Torch is crazy. I do like how there's a bigger variety of characters being played this season compared to last. And I will say I am very surprised with the Blade. They gassed up Blade so much, but then when they played against Team Liquid Citadel yesterday, they didn't pull out the Blade at all. I don't know, man. I think they didn't pull it out. I don't know. It was like 18 hours deep, bro. I was seeing things.
Jay wasn't even live. He was just looking at a black screen. Thought he was watching a whole nother game. No, listen, man. Yeah, I agree. I think Blade, hey, he's gotten the most or almost the most buffs in the DPS category. It's kind of crazy, like how many micro buffs has gotten there, and maybe we'll continue to see the Days Walker come out today. Listen, man, you got an amazing watch party to go and attend. And if you guys don't know, you can go over to Jay's 3 stream. Go check out all the hype, the analysts, and a reflective surface visible from space at the top of his head. It's got it all, Jay. Anything you want to leave off with?
Ooh, no, just come check me out. Come check out all the other, watch parties that are, spending a lot of time out there. I know Space is also doing it. Shout out to him too. And, much appreciate you guys having me on, and shout out to all the other casters and all the players out there putting on a performance.
Yeah, I actually have one more. I just saw from chat. They said that you were willing to cosplay the new Cap skin. Do you have a date for that? I just want you to let everybody know here. There was something I saw there. Is there anything you can elaborate on?
I would cosplay the captain skin. From the back it looks like me, but from the front it's like Spider-Man. So that's what I got for you, man.
Yo, right, before this gets too much further, we're going to go and welcome J3 back to his stream, and we appreciate it and love you much, buddy. Thanks for coming on, as always.
Love you guys. Take care.
See you, Jay. Love you, mean it, big dog. Oh my man. God, I'm dying. It's so funny.
Me and Shib saw who the guest was today, and we both just put LOL. True story. We were like, this is going to be great. The 3 Musketeers over here, yeah?
Yeah, man, it was awesome. It's perfect. And yeah, I mean, a lot of good fourth conversations there too, right? Hyping up the America's team going into Worlds here. That's the kind of stuff that gets me excited, obviously, at this time of the season. But yeah, I mean, again, I think all these regions have been super talented. I'm super proud of our region for sure. So I'm looking forward to seeing what it looks like today.
Yeah, dare I say, I think this is the first time that I feel like, first of all, we have an American player over there doing well in Terra. Okay, let's just go and take claim of that. But on top of that, we're American team player. I think he's from Canada. Regardless the point, I do think TLC is going to be able to represent us very well as Swamp and 100 Thieves. But speaking of which, let's get to the meat and potatoes of what this whole day is going to be, and we start with the revenge match. Now, if you just look at the scoreboard, Shib, it may have not looked like it was going to be, it looked like it was one-sided. This game was so much closer than people think. It was actually kind of a coin flip there on the domination up to the last point. Shib, let's talk about Swamp Gaming first.
Yeah, I mean, I liked what you said. We were kind of talking. Obviously, we weren't casting. We were kind of typing to each other like, wow, that looked like Thieves might have been able to take that on Dom. Is Krasbang, though, Scatter, Melophobia, Daze, Forky Dog, Valentina, Eve. We said this a few times, especially with these top teams, but I truly do believe these names are in the conversation for some of the very best in each of their categories. Some of the strongest stat lines from Kraz and Scatter. Melophobia's hit scan as a whole. Daze, that Wolverine, needs to be banned. And then the backline that is impenetrable. There's just not enough that I could say about this team.
Yeah, man, I have so much to highlight here. I think Scatter, first of all, does not get enough flowers. Dude was a menace. If you go look at some of his stats when they went up against 100 Thieves last time, he only had 3 less finals than Melo did. 37 finals, absolutely crazy 90k damage there, Scatter. Just such a good off tank in a lot of ways, and we know what Kraz can do in the Vanguard line. Shib, I think for me, what's just really cool about the team too is there's not often that we can just highlight and talk a lot about a coach, man. I think Fox is one of the best at it.
Oh, yeah.
And a personality that's needed in the esport, has bold opinions, and I love everything about that. He believes his team is by far, set the standard for the best in each role. Obviously, a little bit of a humble lesson yesterday, but I love just the confidence of him and the team.
Yeah, I think I think it's important. Well, I talk about all the time when you're a duelist. I think you need to believe you're the best duelist if you want to perform. It's just got to be a mental state. I also think having a coach that genuinely believes that you are the best team and wants you to move forward, whether you are or not, I guess we're going to try to figure that out today, is something to keep in mind. But I think you need that belief system behind you. I absolutely think we need to shout out Fox in that front.
Yeah, I saw that yesterday when when Canada lost in the World Cup, the coach was still like, I still want my team over them no matter what. That is the confidence you want to have, especially here in sports, esports, no matter what. But you know what? Talks a big game. He says a lot against 100 Thieves. He talks about their tanks. They're not the best, even close in slot. He'll go and say, hey, Delina, you're okay. You got to watch more VODs of Remix. We got to see what you can do and get more flexible in the hit scan. You love the trash talk, and that's exactly why 100 Thieves, I think we talked about this in the green room, it fuels them, man. They love the hate because they use it to go ahead and engage what is this team synergy.
Yeah, I was pretty sure I was going to see Remix use that shield to sprint through the wall at the end of that matchup. I'm with you 100%. I think they use that as fire. They use that fuel and just start running right through teams. Vinny, TTK, Delena, Self, Winnie, and Millennia. Again, this team, I will say it until the end of days, always shows up at the playoffs. They have a ton of talent. They're super coordinated together. They've been together a very long time. They just do things without needing to communicate them. And when they lock in together, especially in moments like this, I think they're unbeatable.
Yeah, well, they'll have to end days if they want a chance for that grand finals, buddy. And if you're looking at what it is, hey, I want to put a little pressure on Remix. We got to see a good strategy plan come out from them, right? I think the ban phase we started to see towards the end of their matchup make more sense. When you look at someone like TLC, they're good at everything, right? And they knew their homework going right into it. But remember, we heard this previously. I think, we lost beat Sentinels. And what did Stick Drift said? They said, hey, thank you, we lost for the game plan, right? Obviously, TLC, when you get 3 losses to a team that quickly, and it was the day before, hey, guess who's copying some homework right now? Probably 100 Thieves and Remix. Now, Ship, to me, one thing that stands out for this team is they've got, strategists that can always play well enough, but they've got carry players, man. Self TTK Delina at any moment can just rise to extreme success.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's like the same sentiment I can make. It's all about playmaking, I think, with these two teams. I think they all understand the basics, and they rarely make huge mistakes, especially these two teams. It's just about who shows up in the moment and makes the big play when it's crucial. We've seen some alt fight downs, especially from Swamp, where they're down alt fights. They just play clinically and keep moving forward. And then Thieves, it's like, now that they're starting to figure out this ban phase a little better, it's like a different team. I don't know what else to say, but you can see some of the stat line breakdowns here, obviously, with these two teams, for this grudge match, man. I just can't wait to get this thing going.
For sure, man. And listen, obviously, Days was the ban focus from TLC. That's kind of how they found a lot of success. My thing against 100 Thieves, you saw it yesterday. Man, I feel like if you can ban the Angela a little bit against, when I'm looking at all the common denominators of how TTK does what TTK does.
Agreed.
Angela, the spear, the one-wing angel is a big threat with that, buddy. So I think that would be something we're going to see, especially if we get like Hell's Heaven open up, buddy. I would no question think that Angela is going to be on the ban and save side of Swamp.
Yeah, I'm just looking at some of my notes. I think they let the Angela through the one game in Museum, and they looked really good. Thieves just looked a lot more scary, and then from then on, Angela was banned all the other 3 matches, even prior. So yeah, definitely a big pressure point for them. Outside of that, a lot of the stuff seems traditional. The Mantis early bans, although we didn't necessarily see that from Team Liquid Citadel. Maybe that'll be a play that Thieves take from their playbook, where now they get rid of the Gambit first because they don't want Valentina on that Gambit, who has been and will continue to be an absolute menace.
Yeah, for sure. And just like any sport, like you can copy homework, but you have to have the talent to back it up. And I think what TLC could do is Cooper, one of the best in the biz. That's why you have to use something like a Gambit ban, right away on someone so good, and that it frees up the triple sup. I don't know if that's going to be the case here on the side of 100 Thieves, right? I think they're okay. Winnie's been taking over that duty a little bit more lately. Actually had a great game against them when they did play. So, that's where things are going to change up. You know what I think, though, Bud, also is the Rocket ban against Swamp is huge against, what they rely on.
Yeah, seeing Forky play Rocket is actually insane. The movement that Rocket can have is kind of unleashed when you see someone of the talent of Forky Dog on that hero. So yeah, really, really cool. I also think Rocket right now is just in an insane state. And if you don't find BRBs, if you're not running like a semi-more dive-focused team comp, and you're not getting behind and finding those BRBs, it's a 7th player on the field at all times. So it's tricky, man. It's tough. There's so many things that you want to ban. And the question is, what's the right avenue? What's the right attack? And who are they going to lock after that first ban? So we're going to be finding that out in just a moment here.
Yeah, and they just play so differently, right? The front lines, and we're getting a good look. Obviously, we just saw one blow in his nose. Here's TTK at the other. We got Kraz and Scatter. That's going to be the battle of the fittest because it opens up the rest. The way Delena plays is just a bit different, obviously, than Mello and Daze. So, going to be interested to see. And Selfman, I don't know about you, Shib, but and this guy, it's he's always a great player, but sometimes he turns it up to 11 and can be damn near unstoppable. That's the Self that needs to show up if you don't want a $40,000 difference from 3rd to 1st.
Yeah, agreed. I think really kind of the star of that dive potential on the team, but also more of that flex role. I think there's a lot of value in being able, we talk about the right. We mentioned this, I think it's fun to mention with Sen, where it's Ryan Mazing's not necessarily switching because, he's struggling per se. It's more so the team knows that he can kind of fill the open role. And I think Self can do something similar to that. As we see, the first map is going to be Krakoa, and I love this domination map.
Yeah, man. I think this is probably, and this is regarded by a lot of the pros, the best dom map. Super open. All 3 maps are great. High ground is good, but it's balanced because there's a lot of, obstructions in the way of the point. All the portals make a lot of sense. I just feel like this is a great side and a bit more dive heavy. This is going to be more of a dive map, so I do expect there to obviously be some Daredevil action in it. Shib, I know last time whenever they did play, they did the ban of the Daredevil. Thieves did and saved their own for Self. Didn't lead in a win, but almost did, right? So maybe they go that same approach this time. They led with the Mantis, saved the Gambit, and went from there.
Yep. And that kind of forces out, obviously, to get rid of the Rogue sometimes. At least Thieves made sure that was the case going up against Swamp in the past. So I don't think that Swamp necessarily thinks they need to do that. I think they only banned a Rogue one time, if my notes are correct here. But we're going to look at their bans coming up, getting a look at everybody on Swamp locking in. You can see them all in one location. We talk about how a boot camp can just get you hyped up. The energy is real in the room, and I can feel it through the screen, buddy. I know you can too.
Yeah, they moved Valentina too. She's in another part of the room now. Maybe got a little bit closer for the comms. So you know what I'd love to see is the mental, right? Obviously, yesterday didn't go the way they planned, and they still look ready to roll. And 100 Thieves, man, can you imagine if they end up winning this game? Would be absolutely massive for them. But Swamp Gaming, they're near perfect. We know what this team can put together. And right off the bat, talk about copying homework.
Wow.
Forget the Mantis, throw away the Gambit. Days, you're not playing Wolverine.
Yep, they did it. Yeah, they saw that opportunity. They are going to allow the lock to come in here for the Gambit for Swamp, but the idea is to just remove the Wolverine, as you can see Daze. Right, that little smirk on the face, he knows that is targeted. Oh, you'll see TTK in a moment, probably.
Yeah. Oh, man, dude, this is looking good so far. I actually like the aggressive strat right out the rip, as both these players are seeing their favorite heroes and their carry potential go out the window. But either way, Gambit's safe for both sides. I'm sure, obviously, Swamp and Valentina a bit more happy about that in the way that they roll. And looking for the next ban here. This is where, if you look at the past, it was the Rogue, the Cyclops. Do they open that up? 100 Thieves doing exactly what I thought. Make it a one-sided Daredevil matchup, and you're getting rid of Daze, and it's dive heavy. This is just a perfect win for them.
Yeah, I think that's you called it perfectly. That's exactly the goal. They still are able to remove that rogue later on from the side of Thieves to not stress over it, although she's just so much stronger with that team up with Gambit. That's just been a mainstay of the pro scene and will continue to be, at least for the time being. The final lock going to be coming in here from Swamp, and that is Rocket. I think that's a smart decision.
Had to be. Thought they were maybe going to bait them into saving the Daredevil there. Typically, that's where they save the Wolverine in the past, and so it is funny to see kind of how things adjusted, and the Angela ban was all the way at the end. Now they kind of have their pick, and I think they're going to continue to try to punish maybe Delena in the pool there. They could also make it a one-sided Rocket if they want to try to go that route.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
I think that's what they might roll with. The Star-Lord's a good ban either way to shut down Mello. I hear a lot about Daze being a great flex to Star-Lord, but you didn't really see that yesterday.
Yeah, that's a good call out. You're right. That's I think Fox has said that. I think we've had that conversation in the past, but yeah, it doesn't look like that's going to be run. Well, it is removed here, but I would definitely. Interesting. I thought Thieves might lock the Rocket, where they've done that in the last time they saw these two teams, but they are going to instead. Oh yeah, they can. It's probably going to get removed right now.
It's going to be gone. You would think, right?
Yeah,
like there's just no shot.
Yeah.
There it is. Goodbye. And because what are you getting rid of, right? You're getting rid of so many different things. First of all, if you do fear the Daze is Wolverine, you don't have the jump pack. You also have obviously just the huge first fight win typically, and the Reds, bro. So like there's just so much that Rocket gives to the table. So what they're saying is, Swamp, you can have this famous backline that's talked so heavy about, but what we did is enable self and get rid of your flex DPS. That's what they wanted to do.
Yeah, I think the name of the game here is to kind of throw them for a loop. This is a different ban phase than they've ever experienced, right? But like this is something different, and that is what I like to see this at this stage in the game. I think pulling out unique hero picks that you don't scrim maybe necessarily against, which I think is what we were seeing yesterday with some of those more unique picks, and then also throwing the ban phase for a loop, because now everybody's questioning what are we supposed to do here? What do the stats say? And you know, you making all those decisions on a short timeline really messes with your flow.
Yeah, you said it, buddy. We do have our first look at what they're running, and I'm not surprised here by the more aggressive comp of Kraz and on the Angela because of, Wolverine gone. You're going to go more towards the Captain, the Hulk. Daze running the tank pool. Hello, surprise. This is what we saw. We saw Tuesday do that a little bit. We'll see if Daze maybe in 24 hours is showing what he can do on such a big hero. Does that surprise you at all, buddy?
Not necessarily. I think, well, it's we've seen it, I think, once or twice. Daze on this hero running that triple line. It's looked pretty good. I think they found success with it, but you know, it's all about, are Thieves going to be able to exploit that? Do they have something to burn down some of this Vanguard play? And we're going to get eyes on that in just a moment as the teams are lining up and locking in.
Yeah, for sure here, man. As we're looking at our split view and the way that it's going right away, as Prav's going to bring it back to full here, and we're going to find ourselves in this first point break. Now, first thing, Shib, I don't know about you, is get rid of those damn trees that just have so much blocking the sight line. Get things rolling, and right away, we're seeing some good peeling. Going to try to keep everyone alive as we will get a full screen picture for you here momentarily.
And there, Psycho lied. It's right back to the duel again. Kraz able to engage here, looking for one. I don't believe anybody's gone down just yet. Delena spin to win over Kraz is able to find the first pick there. And Thieves are going to be up a number so far on this point, which should almost be capped here actually by Swamp.
Yeah, this is, a little bit of a fun angle here to see the two added, and there we go. We've got missiles flying and nothing capped yet, my man. If you want to look at some important things, obviously you do have the ban hammer ready. Daze already used his, as TTK finds the best of that tank pool we were just talking about. So matching 1-for-1, but there's that rocket bang coming into player save. Into play, Banhammer on Mello, going to slow the team down a bit on the hit stand front. And Chip looking at it. Look at those strat advantage. Ever so slightly over to Winnie, but there's the big pick Mello's so known for.
Yeah, that is a good start there, but Thieves do have control of point, 15% and climbing for this moment. Delena was very close to ult, so massive decision-making there by Mello for that target. And again, like you said, the BRB showing ever more presence as it's going to keep their numbers up even after that first pick went to Thieves. Both teams playing a little slow now. Swamp trying to find some presence on point, using Daze to get up there and just level up, but he's very low. Are they going to be able to clean that up? They do. Vinny finds Daze, Millennia, and Delena with ultimate. Melophobia starts off with the Ruby Rage. It doesn't seem to land, though.
Bro, this is why winning first fight is so important, right? You get to write your own tempo, and 100 Thieves play so much better when they get to do just that. Scatter going to find Delena out of here once again. Delena going to be a non-factor in this set of the fight with Legendary up to go. That's a bummer, as now both strats going to force to pop their ults, keep the team alive best they can. Again, no rocket would have been, you know, obviously helpful there, but unable to use just that. Kraz going to find that backline pick. So right now, just try to survive, keep the point yours, but it's going to inevitably, most likely, get on over there. But Delena with the pick early. Hello.
Yeah, Delana's going to keep this going. That is going to be one onto Daze. Do I see a second here onto Kraz? It looks like it might be the case. Good movement by Kraz. Going to be able to get to that pack and towards the back line. But all the while, folks, 72% here for 100 Thieves. Doing a great job just stalling and biding time. Is this strategy truly going to work out? It looks like so far it is. Ult's going to be roughly even. No major strat line ult to keep the team healthy. TTK going to be close on that ban hammer. And Scatter on that Angie with the Heaven's Descent. What to look forward to next.
They just walked out inside the lease. Now it's their building. Like, Krakoa is officially right now belonging to the Thieves, stealing it immediately. And look at that pick. This is them playing aggressive and loose. And that's just having a great, excellent plan in the chess phase, the ban that we got to give credit to Remix for. There's the Devil being let out. Not too much success, but doesn't need the ult to find his value as Scatter falls quickly. One Wing Angel is only one-sided and doesn't matter as time's ticking. Over time to a sliver already, Shib. I am absolutely blown away.
Wow. There's not much else to say as it is 100-0 Thieves, and they are keeping it calm, cool, and collected in the chair. They know the job's not done. It's only one of the three. And again, you got to be thinking Vanpool, right? Gets better over time. All of those pools only get stronger and stronger as the matches move forward. It is going to be matched back as TTK is playing the same game.
Brother, how many Thieves do you know play passive? They don't. They play aggressive, fast, loose, no seatbelts in the getaway car, and they got away with that point so easily. Hey, big shout out dude, I'm telling you, if Millennia and Winnie can play like that, because they were getting some nice little picks in there as well. Look at Millennia with 4K damage. Hello, where has this been?
Yeah, for real. You can see this is pretty nutty to look at in the stat line across the board. Melophobia obviously played a pretty mean game, but still it's tough to move forward if you're not stacked up as a unit. Not a ton of falling. The backline stayed healthy there for Swamp, so realistically, it's just a good calm game by 100 Thieves who got control of point, got a neutral pick, and then let it stall. Wait it out. No reason to necessarily fully commit into their spawn door if you don't need to.
Yeah, now you can have Swamp Gaming, you know, rely on the tried and true and something 100 Thieves doesn't have access to, and that's a team up there with Groot and Loki Mantis, right? Just so much extra threat to be aware of, and they're going to try to have something a little bit more front to back here, which I think is good, especially on this point. A little bit weird on this because you have the main central objective, but the high ground, again, coming to so much use, can self-find that backline diving that they continue to do so, buddy. Right now, all eyes are on Vinny.
And Vinny diving in with a commitment, does have that Feast of the Abyss ready and available. Goes down now, looks for something. I'm not sure that it did land here. Looks like it did not at all. Gonna be able to pop that E after the fact. Sia gets committed to from Forky, gets destroyed instantly. TTK with the banhammer. Millennia now starting up with the dance floor. It is going to be slow pace, but TTK itself gonna find the first two. Valentina back on the floor now. After the BRB commitment, there is a big strangling prison looking at the back line. Is gonna be able to find two. Well done on the return here from Swamp.
Bro, you know what's so funny? You go look at Museum of Contemplation, they banned Wolverine only on that matchup when they last played. They won it, right? Now they open with that ban, and hey, what did I say about copying a little homework? You know what I mean? To get through the test answers that obviously TLC provided, and this is helping them because they've always had the gameplay and the mechanics, Chip. And this is, you know, coming to light here that they put that together with what's the strategy, and they can really beat anybody. But at this point, Swamp Gaming, early cap, really helps out with this comp as they do play more front to back on the low ground.
Yeah, up in the sky now with the Galactic Legend. Delena able to find two. Vinny cleans up another. Make it two. Self and Winnie gonna find a piece of the pie, and that return is fast and decisive. 22% from Swamp there as Thieves take it over. But yeah, I mean, I'm with you, buddy. Removing that Wolverine sounds like a Christmas miracle to me as a Vanguard player. You know how difficult it can be to get value. It really kind of feels like it's on that duelist line and strat line to make sure you're focusing that priority, because if you move forward at all, if you take any additional space, you know you're gonna get yoinked. So I like that decision.
Matt Murdoch did get a nerf to his blindness. Can't see as well, but still going to go pin up there with Vinny's the perfect way to go about it. And there it is. There's the wombo combo. You know best. Vinny absolutely playing such a good Venom today, Shib. You know, there's been a lot of times those combos, that ult hit hasn't really popped, but today you're going to go and get the okay go a lot better. Here goes Loki copying Goddess of Death, or Goddess. Going to copy now and get something rolling for this team halfway through the point objective. And there it is. They got the 2 and the 3 subs now all going in here on 100 Thieves.
In 14 days, able to find one there. Still holding on to Delena on the KO countdown, if you will. And there's that retake, 46%. Swamp coming back in with a vengeance, saying it's not over yet, and they have a ton of ultimates after this next fight.
Yeah, man. Oh, no, going out. I was about to say the dance floor is going to be huge, but nope, it's going to be the Feast of the Abyss and the Pop not landing. Although there is the finish from Delena, finding a little bit of a slowdown on the side with 97% gone, too. That's definitely huge, bro. That gives him a chance to maybe try to win this fight, but they're drawn back. So even with losing Forky Dog, now he can get back up to ult, and it's going to be the reset and most likely another fight win for Swamp, depending on how they choose to use it.
Yeah, I didn't love that, right? Like, I didn't love the Feast commitment there or the Van Hammer after being down a number and the point was changed. Sometimes you commit that kind of stuff to buy yourself another 10% or so. But that was, they had already lost it. I don't know. I don't see the value there, but we're going to see another ult fight coming in. Now it's going to be very difficult for Thieves to make this work out. Swamp is locked in. Porky going to start off here with a commitment. See if this works out as Raging Royal flushes there. They'll let the devil out from Self, but he pays for it as Kraz is able to find that pick. And now Swampar again holding on. Bro, that's Resurgence.
This is why this team up's working well. Like, this is a really good counter comp answer to what they were running and how it worked so well for them in the first place. Because they're kind of pick reliant and cooldown reliant, right? That's why they've got Vinny here to try to get these big, crystals out and whatnot. But if they're able to keep those, it's just going to shut down Self altogether. Now, Winnie ready to enable and get ready. TTK is going to throw that out immediately. Let's see if value comes to town. Kraz now just going to throw the ult and get everybody in for the group photo, and he finds all the pictures as 1-2 fall down. Damn near a selfie.
Yeah, well done there. Yeah, I mean, you're at this team up here. You're going to be using that heal wall. Delena going to find Melophobia. Do we see more? Kraz at a tough spot, but it's matched now. Forky Dog trying to escape, but not for long. What a pick from Delena right there to shut down. But the ultimate actually came from Valentina, so it still will be up for the team. Scatter going to find Delena now and trade it back, and Thieves, you have control of the point.
Bro, did you see Delena trying to shoot the sleep ghost on the back of Self when he was slept by the Mantis? You could actually do that, but that's like such a hardcore quick tech. I would say Delena's Star-Lord ults have gotten giga value today compared to the past. We usually see them all use position a lot better, and it's a bit more off. Today, finding those values each time, 99%, 76. It's a close one, folks. Just keep your eyes on the prize of the Strange Portal. Delena gets another pick. He's absolutely feeling himself today, going up on the biggest stage, but it's not going to be enough, Shib, as they're going to fall and give up point 2.
This is what I'm looking for from game one. We've got a 1-1 on domination. Really good swaps there from Swamp. I love that comp. It looked clean, like you said. The Mantis combining there. When you're looking at that Groot, use that heal wall. Groot farms ult just exponentially faster. And then obviously you have the Loki team up too, right? So the same team up there where you get the damage boost in those crystals. They're even extended further. It is just disgusting at this level of play.
Yeah, and that's why you're seeing the Self stats right here. Like, they're just able to stop what was working for them so well, man. Like, the grave was dug, but they climbed out with the shovel in the counter answer. That's what you need to see right here and across the board. Well done. You look at the ult advantage. Obviously, it's still with, hey, England playing today, man. Dinner time love coming shortly. This map is probably the worst of the 2 or 3, I would say, that you can use this Glartrox on. Still plenty of value if you can push them for the spawn pushing. That's always good, coming down that ramp hill. Either way, though, we'll see how they choose to aggress this.
Yeah, not the best for the Glartrox, but just as a group player, like, you really do love those tight windows where you can wall above and it forces their eyes upward in a position that they're not able to really see those walls until they are getting hit by them, right? That's what you're kind of looking for from these group maps. So definitely not a bad spot for him. If they're able to get this first fight win and push them towards spawn a little bit. We'll see what that looks like. Alt advantage in favor of Swamp here with that Glartrox, like you mentioned.
This is where the map where the high ground is really good, but also there's so much barriers of entry, right? But it allows their strats and the rest of your team to kind of hang out on point, win first cap. First cap's going to matter a lot more on this map than the others, but typically tougher to take. But Swamp Gaming want to get it muddy fast as Melo understands the assignment. Find the player that's doing great. Look at that tracking in the portal. Hello, disgusting, as they're going to go and find light in the crystals.
That was so dirty here. Melophobia looking for another pick. Vinny falls. A Scatter gets that. And the whole side of 100 Thieves is going to have to drop back. Melophobia did not even commit ultimate, playing very much in that neutral and getting value. Well done from Swamp Gaming once again.
I want to go ahead and give the flowers to Daze, who yesterday, that kind of role of what do you play, the Mantis a lot better here today in that support role. They have the 3 subs as Melo has been locked in. Melo wanted his day back yesterday, saw it on Twitter, said, I'm going to VOD review, get right, get clean. It's not rare that he has any off days. Well, he's looking right back to form here. Going to go ahead and protect this home front of the Cerebro in the middle now. As we quickly have the Van Hammer, once again, TTK has to find value, but shit, hard to do when you got the best ability in the game that's the size of the damn point in those crystals.
Yeah, super well done on that defense. Big strangling prison from Kraz there to slow the pace. 100 Thieves are now kind of feeling the pressure as Forky's able to drop Winnie. Goodbye to Delena as well. And what do you know, Melophobia and Scatter still holding on to those ults.
Man, this is why Swamp, though, they just continue to, it's okay if things are messy. It's quite literally in the name of how they play. Self, hello? Are you in the match chat? What are you typing? We're checking out stats or something there as he was found. That's a crazy. You would think he had the ability to see through walls there, Shib. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's sound tracking. If you know, the thing about kind of using those silent walk or that slow walk is you actually don't make sound. So sometimes they'll use that slow walk to try to hide. But I think, potentially stepped a few times. The Melophobia is just built a little bit different, able to hear that and get that pick prior. That's just, you can't teach that, folks. As you see, Melophobia start up here with the Glock trucks, but that gets smacked right into a wall. And that ain't going to work out as the spin to win starts here for Delena. Here goes the combination ultimate. Galactic Legend in the sky. Do we see value? Banhammered immediately. You don't miss with this, but you'll still take damage over time. Gonna wait this out instead, force out, but that's still a 2-for-1 trade. Not bad as Daze finds Winnie here. Swamp wants to close this down.
Yeah, we're in final fight territory here. Got to get this win, but Melophobia is making it damn near impossible. Self gonna go ahead and let the devil out himself. Pushes one, gets Daze out of there as two. Gonna have the Groot ult come out. Vinny pulling at 98% is absolutely detrimental, but does that matter as the Thieves find a will and a way. But Melophobia being that Thanos to stand the test of time. Portal opening, Winnie out and ready. That's also a bit of a bummer though, but didn't exactly need it.
Yeah, I'm wondering now if Winnie's going to go back into Portal and swap if they think... Yeah, that is exactly what's going to happen. Yeah, not a bad idea here. Millennium will still be on that gambit. Vinny on the Groot now, of course, with that Strangling Prison available, folks. This is do or die here for these teams. Swamp in a very strong position. Their idea now is they're not afraid to force out some ults and maybe lose this next fight, but then come back in with an ult fight and win it. And we'll see if they even need to do that as they push forward.
Absolutely, yeah. Vinny, I think falling early in that battle was actually pretty good because he had the ult ready, actually getting dangerously close now. No instant burst of the here. There it is. Gonna get the big, oh my. Dude, the crystals, though. You can't do anything against them.
Yeah, you can't stop it.
All eyes will be on TTK here, the best Emma in the world. Can you find that value now in the most important time? 50% up and climbing. There's another pick, man. Delena is on fire as the assassin thief today.
I mean, those are disgusting placements of those low-key clones, though, for crystals. They were actually hidden behind natural cover, both sides, but the zone just was so big, it covered through the ult. So well done. Kraz able to take out Vinny. Swamp trying to shut this down. Kraz gets a second here. Do we see a third? And there is that Raging Royal flush to clean up the rest. And they will not have Portal for this touch. It's going to be forced in, and I don't think it can work out here. This is looking like Swamp may take this first map home, and it has been a heater. They're walking forward to shut down some of that movement. I think that will do it. It does.
My guy, I mean, listen to what they had if they didn't mess up that Portal play. They had the Legendary online. Shortly after would have been the Gambit ult. They definitely want that comms back, and that is what it's all about. We talk about mechanical play, but at the top rope, strategy, so important. And speaking of rope, man, dude, Swamp Gaming, they found one thread of hope and turned it into a rope. Got Krakoa first on the board.
Yeah, there was a ton of mixed emotion there on the cams, as you see. A little bit of disappointment, some excitement, some relief. That's just how it goes in a matchup like that. The Thieves are looking strong, but Swamp so far looking a little bit stronger. Keep it locked right here as we'll see game 2 right after this break.
이루어지는 마법인 거야 운명의 소리 들려 여기서 저기서 날 찾으며 달빛이 날 비춰와 시작해야 let's go 어둡고 흘러는 우주 따뜻한 눈으로 감싸나 순간 신비롭게 녹아내릴 거야 좀 더 기다려 I'll be there 쓰러지지 마 끝까지 일어나야 해 어딜 가든지 극복해 힘은 너에게 있는 걸 소리 높여 노래를 불러 작은 걱정 따윈 던지고 최선을 다해 작품을 쳐봐 어둠이 떠날 때까지 아름다운 꿈을 밝혀봐 우리에게 달려서 그 세계 운명 어둠이 떠날 때까지 세계 운명 오랜 시간 간직해온 열망 까만 밤의 빛처럼 빛나 네 눈앞에 바로 어떤 나라 탑을 딱 봐도 superstar 딱 보면 모르나 널 지킬 나란 걸 더 지켜볼수록 점점 빠져들어 카리스마 넘쳐 흘러 oh yeah 운명의 소리 들려 여기서 저기서 날 찾으며 달빛이 날 비춰와 시작이야 let's go 어둡고 흘러는 우주 따뜻한 눈으로 감싸나 순간 신비롭게 녹아내릴 거야 좀 더 기다려 I'll be there 쓰러지지 마 끝까지 일어나야 해 어딜 가든지 극복해 힘은 너에게 있는 걸 소리 높여 노래를 불러 작은 걱정 따윈 던지고 최선을 다해 작품을 쳐봐 어둠이 떠날 때까지 아름다운 꿈을 밝혀봐 우리에게 달려서 그 세계 운명 눈이 부신 모든 순간들 지켜내야 해 내가 좋아지려면
What's going on and welcome back, my friends. The bitrate went through the blip, but we snapped it back and we are alive here for such an insane lower bracket finals, as this was a nail biter at first, but Swamp Gaming got the best of it all in Krakoa. And Shib, as you said before we went to break, that's exactly what we want to see here, man, to fight from both of them, because with 100 Thieves, man, they did some more of the test work, right? The quiz work. But you know that Swamp is going to have something ready there with Coach Fox. You've got to return back into some plan too.
Yeah, I like the comp switch. I think it made a lot of sense. I liked what they pulled out the Groot. They really started shutting down some of that back play. I think the Mantis team up with the Loki was great. It countered any group back too. They just kind of found a comp that if it was matched or tried to find a solution, they were going to be able to do it just a little bit better. And it showed right there as we see the MVP Kraz on the tree. And that is some beautiful stat line.
Yeah, listen, I mean, Kraz, plays such a great role no matter what. One of the best main tanks in this game. And we saw it come to light. Like, there was even little things that, we didn't get a lot of Glarotroxes out of Mello, but they would time the walls to release at the right time, trying to just do all the micro gaming. And that's what I think it sets this team apart sometimes, is they're great at macro and micro, plus they've got the mechanic ship. And it takes all that put together as one, as this team looks on to try to get the next map. Now, what's funny, man, is we had domination between these two last time, and it was still that close, bro. So I expect this to be a series.
Exactly. And then they came back, when it ultimately went to Museum and they took back the win. But that was obviously, that was then. This is now, right? These teams have done the homework. They've been looking at the tapes. They've identified the problems, and it's going to reflect in the ban phase. But you can see here the stat line across the board. Obviously, Melophobia with that 11 staying on top. But Telena with the 13, that combination from Millennia is going to just kind of guarantee a lot of finals, but it still was executed very well.
Yeah, for sure. And, obviously, no spoiler, but they're going to probably take this into Museum of Contemplation. What I want to see from this is they planned on the dive. It worked with Self until that comp was fixed, because if you go for the Wolverine, at what cost, right? Should we always say that? Like, what are you allowing? And in this case, you are giving that team up to them, which is kind of the answer to what you're trying to get done. So you're going to have to figure something out here to be able to enable your team to get that first advantage and then swap up the homework. They played flawless, obviously, the last time they played Swamp. This is where they won pretty cleanly, but not an easy answer to do the same thing twice, especially when they're ready. They know their weakness, or at least with this matchup.
Yeah, and that could have been a totally different story. Obviously, we saw that portal. I think you called it out beautifully. That was just a little unnecessary. They ended up making the change to the comp. But again, I think a lot of folks maybe see that from the outside looking in and they say, oh, you know, why did Winnie portal? Why would he do that? I'm sure, and I guarantee you, the comms were portal, portal, portal. It just happened to be a clean sweep after the comm for the portal. And at that point, you're kind of in trouble. You really just don't have a way to get back there, even when you have ult advantage, and they paid for it. So just some clean play from Swamp, some slight mistakes and just understanding of how that fight was going to go from the side of 100 Thieves. It could have been a very different story. Both of these teams are evenly matched right now, and I can't wait to see what we're looking at in terms of map and how it's going to shake down here.
Hey man, with great power comes great responsibility, and that portal can quite literally be the way that these teams win. But yeah, it's just, man,
for sure,
we've all been there. It's tough. You kind of feel like, you know, you're the first to die, and then you're like, oh, do I go portal back? Like, how much do I trust your team? You see another person fall, and then Self gets like 3 out of nowhere, and you're like, oh, okay, well, bummer. And that could have been the difference because they had the ults ready to go. But hey, these two strategists played much more clean, especially that first round. Valentina absolutely vibing out. Let's go Queen, as they are ready to rock and roll. Now this ban phase again, we got Wolverine to kick us off first. Obviously, we're going to see where we're going to be taking it via the location of this beautiful round number 2 between the two. And are you surprised?
Not surprised at all. This is where the win came in last time for 100 Thieves. Rinse and repeat. I will say the Angela on this map looked really strong. There were some strong picks across the board, but they were able to hold them 0.1. I'm not sure that will necessarily be the case, as I know they've done their homework. Like we just talked about, Swamp is for sure looking at the tapes from this last matchup, as that is where they had that big issue. So we'll see what it looks like, buddy. I mean, the ban phase has been very different so far. I have no doubt it's going to continue to be this, you know, that new pathway for them.
Yeah, and Coach Fox and the team kind of hate this map. Funny enough, they're not fans of using it in contemplation. I don't want to, you know, get ahead of the horse here, but I will say Thieves need to win this. If they want a chance to secure 3, man, listen, Swamp is just too good at the other maps for the most part to where you don't want this to come to the game 5. So gotta win this here. Not saying it's over if they don't, but this is definitely one where the advantage gives it to them so much. They're probably gonna have Midtown in their back pocket too. But yeah, either way, you highlighted it. They're gonna give Mantis. I still think they're okay with Daze having the Mantis, especially because then that takes away a little bit of, you know, what Daze can do on this map. But if you're gonna ban, you know, one way of the Wolverine, I don't know if you use the ban on the Daredevil yourself. Do you just, you know, fear that survivability for your own backline ship?
I mean, you could. I don't see why not. I'm not sure. It's tricky. I'm not sure it's as much of the priority. I feel like Dive is definitely still strong, but it needs to kind of be, it needs to kind of have some serious team design. You need to kind of play with it heavily. You want to be going in there heavy with the, you know, the potentially the Venom or the Cap, and they've been a priority in the ban phase as well. At least, you know, we've seen some Cap, Venom maybe not so much, but the teams just haven't been electing to run it as consistently. And we haven't really been seeing that kind of, yeah, we lost the full commitment snowball comp from these two teams. So I'm not sure it's as much of a priority, although they're both so good at the hero, it kind of changes the tone. So I'm with you. I'm kind of asking the same question to you and myself.
Well, okay, so last time Thieves, you know, squeaked out a win, the first one against Swamp on this map, because they were able to save the Angela last. Obviously, buddy, not going to happen this time. Like they're not gonna have that as the last spot, but they banned the Rocket here and the Wolverine. Those are the two picks that I want them to get out of here. Ban Rocket, ban Wolf, allow some other things and get going from there, as they're going to kick off a similar state. Mantis can be banned once again. If we go back to history, it won't repeat itself on Swamp side.
There you go.
Okay, it's Angela. That was Cyclops last time they played on this map.
Yeah, no, that's the right decision there. That was a huge factor last time around. They could early lock, the Gambit. I was gonna say they could try to save the Rocket. I think Rocket should be removed, like you're saying, by Thieves, because that's their next. That's gonna be their next lock guaranteed to their next wave. So likely gonna happen, but it might be a prio. You know, if they're still trying to shut down Daze, they might do the dive stuff like we talked about from the last map. But maybe that's their changeup. I think that's where you can kind of try to shift things here if you want a different ban phase than last go. But then again, it was such a close match that I don't know. Do you want to try to prioritize a target that may have maybe helped that group comp? You're thinking maybe the Loki, but again, it's going to be the Rogue. I
think, well, funny enough, I was just about to say the big difference from yesterday and today is we didn't get a lot of Rogue bans, both TLC and the last time they played them. Now, every single time 100 Thieves played them last time, they did do the Rogue ban. And there's sense here in this map because of the way you can utilize that triple Vanguard. I just feel like the way that Daze was playing that other tank role, they can continue to do that. They're going to continue with the plan of trying to have kind of a self-dive comp and not give them the option of that. So going to be curious because we've talked about it. Thieves can play Rogue. They have Rogue, you know, at least somewhat in the tool belt, but they're giving it often as Loki's the next save.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, they've just tried different people on Rogue. I think even at one point they tried to have Self on Rogue, so it's like they're just not as confident. I think Swamp they understand that, so it's not a huge priority for them. They are going to keep that low-key. See, this is what I was saying. You know, maybe the change in the ban phase in the future would be maybe we don't think DD as much unless it, you know, I mean, and I'm sure it's a huge threat, but just the idea of their backup comp, once they start beating you or once they start losing to you, it seems like their go-to is that team up when it comes to trying to get Loki out there potentially, but you know, Mantis being gone here is going to change the story a little bit.
But dude, the Rocket, I would maybe save Rocket here potentially, because here's the thing, right? If you look at what they want to do, okay, nice. They're going to go with the save the Rocket, because here's the thing. They're allowing the Star-Lord this time around, which this is going to be banned on the other side. I think, okay, it's Loki. They want a one-sided Loki. That's understandable. You're giving Star-Lord over to Swamp, which is where they used that last time. Obviously, we know what he can do on Cyclops too. That's also given to them, but you're just putting the belief in your own team more. Sometimes, Ship, we see teams banned against other teams, and that's like how the phase strategy is, or just like putting your trust in your own comp.
Yeah, for sure. It's the question of, are we getting rid of, and it's funny because in the interviews we've heard the answer from different teams kind of say different things. It's, hey, you know, we just want to shut down a specific target on their team, but then sometimes the answer is also, no, we want to run a specific comp, and this is a big problem for that comp. And I think that gets into the conversation that teams don't want to talk about so much right now, where they're trying to keep it more under wraps until some of these, you know, today, for an example, where it gets more serious in the tournament, or you move into maybe something like the World. So yeah, they keep that under wraps a bit, and that's the beauty of having a coach, having somebody on the stats line on your team. A lot of those decisions are made on the back end because you can just see statistically, when do we win most? When do we run a spin up with certain bands that enables us to win? And it gets serious. It gets crazy.
Yeah, Days going on the Ultron obviously is going to help out that dive, right? They have at least that damage boost they can do and prepare for the inside dive that was obviously kind of shown there from 100 Thieves. You know, kind of like winning here on the strap pool, maybe gearing up TTK for later. But listen, I quote Fox here. I'm not afraid of Self's Wolverine. He can't play it well. We've heard it before and time again. This is the time to show up and show exactly how you can play Logan, the infamous X-Men. Let's get this thing going, guys. 100 Thieves open up first on the offense.
And let the games begin. Playing around the card right now. Self going to be on that Wolf as discussed. TTK's Emma plays really good on this map. Emma, definitely an Emma forward map, as it's kind of lane based. Really good for her side of seduction and also just brawl in general. Delena almost finds one there quickly on the side of Daze, but it does not work out. Portal out with the team up. The side of Delena using Millennia there. We see some charge walk.
All right, yeah, let's see how they continue to go with it. If they had a great Hulk player, it'd be nice because they could go to use that fastball really well with the Self, but choose to elect not to per usual with them. Now going to go ahead and try to get that kidnap on Krabs. Great awareness there, avoiding of it. And right now, just trying to get things charged up for that middle front to back. TTK getting close to all eyes on him, but man, Swamp is just absolutely Damon here, locked in as Krabs about to already have that group photo coming up.
Yeah, we're going to see what that looks like as Winnie's able to find one. Millennia, Vinny, and Self again. That's a lot off the rip here on the attacking side for Thieves. Off the back of that, Sia. Looks like they're still making this work out. Everybody going to be back. No major need for Portal yet. Kraz does have that Strangling Prison as discussed. And again, there's really no answer.
It's called Sia for a reason, buddy. Like, that's exactly why you banned it first fight, because just as fast as you can get everything else rolling, look at Forky Dog and Valentina, how far they are away and how quickly Millennia was able to get up there on their front. Absolutely textbook class. Dave's going to get close there on the Age of Ultron to see what they can pump out on the ult-wise. And there's always going to be two fights on this point with 4.12. This could be a big trance here. Going to see what they can find. Get one with it. That's a massive one. Oh,
that was dirty. That was so dirty. Emma going to pop shield there to stop the ultimate from Kraz. That was lights out play, as they now are going to be able to have ult advantage. But the first one that goes down is going to be Kraz himself, who's going to make sure that works out as we see some combination. The Strangling Prison going to press forward. Are they going to be able to retake this point? Dave's able to drop back. Forky holding on for now. Nobody falls yet. It's a miracle. And the tackle out of the sky is huge from Self. Winnie and TTK are going to find two more, and they might keep this moving here.
Straight out of Animal Planet, bro. That was such a huge counter to what was going to be one of the best combos in the game. TTK punts with the diamond there for him. Days, get out of here, he says on the Ultron. Slicing and dicing. It's a miracle they don't have this point yet.
Wow.
Still able to cap the Swamp. This is insane. How are they able to sustain this even more as the Amplifier comes out once again from Millennia? Millennia finds that pick. This is certainly now going to give them the rest of the wheels to go on and round, as the toddlers say. Open up these gates, Ship.
Yeah, it's both teams just being really calm, cool, collected, and comms there. There's no other ifs, ands, or buts about it. Great portal to get back, and they played textbook around that portal. Nobody went down. They were diving back in on the touch, rotating touch on a point, going back into the spawn door to get healed up, and they actually ended up getting almost everyone back through portal. But on the other answer, Thieves didn't panic about that. They didn't worry. They essentially just dropped back, played slow, got an ult, made it work, and they took over point. Well done.
Yeah, man, that last stand was epic. Still thinking about it as Delina gets another pick. So the staggers are going to continue now, and that's always great here. But Melophobia does continue to offer the same advantage to his team. Taking a look here, Legendary's close to it. They did have to pop that C on the last fight to win it. So going to have to potentially be a Legend by himself. Going to go ahead and stall this through now that you're down on the numbers big enough. All right, looks like he's going to jump in and slam down the belly flop. Kraz just putting the pressure to the max.
Yeah, we're going to see Kraz be engaged in just a moment here. Does have that feast looking at the back line. Again, the idea for this dive stuff, especially when you're running something like Venom in more of a solo dive format, is you're just going to be playing on that card, ensuring it doesn't move, buying as much time as you can, but card's still moving, I'll tell you that much, and here goes the engage. We'll see if that Raging Royal Flush works out up in the sky. Daze is in that combo, but still well done by Thieves to stay healthy.
Yeah, I mean, they're having the rotation that you usually see over here from the eyes of Swamp Gaming, but does not matter as the front line gets it done. The big boys and Mag and Venom, the early exit to that traffic jam. Taking a look back, though, they got up the hill. You got 2 minutes 20. As you know, Shiv, this is always that point, right? How can you get through this point two? And you have to get 2 very quick hits and wins and have them kind of fall at the right timing as well when it comes to portal play and all. Valentina Eve going to go ahead and copy, get the cards flying, dealing, loaded. Let's see if they fold. Melophobia is going to try to have to answer and get some escape, and he finds Valentina, Shiv.
No, that is a huge pick. You get rid of the ult when you do that. So well played. Sometimes Loki actually the ult will commit even through after going down. But if Gambit falls mid-ult, it does delete for the whole team. So great priority there. Find Valentina, who was just a millimeter away from that right side escape. Porky back on that rocket as discussed.
Look what they have available too, right? Because you still have 3 or 4 answers to what Swamp Gaming has nothing to, right? Like, this is exactly how you close out point 2. Such a hard point to do, but what do you even have? And this can be even tougher when you got Star-Lord, Peter Violence now, as it's going to be theirs to take ship.
Yeah, excuse me, that was Millennium. I'm losing my mind here. But yeah, that was a great attack on point 2. I mean, I'm surprised here. 100 Thieves, I mean, they're looking so strong. That is a very difficult point to push through. And they got that first bend of the card. I mean, it should never make it that far, that early on. They took point 1 over. And instead, oh, it's because they actually used portal. Typically, what you'll see is Swamp try to portal early to hold it tight. But the cart was able to turn around that first bend and almost make the second bend before the fight even started. And that just makes it so on these later fights, they get ever more value scooching the cart forward towards the point. They have a ton of time here for point 2. Yep. These are looking good.
I thought that was Vinny, dude. I was trying to call that out because I think Vinny in mid-fight capped the point. Like, that's so important, right? You kind of have to, like, try to allow the wheels to keep going. It was such huge awareness. Talking about micro, macro play, the beauty and the details. That's exactly what you want to see here. If you want to try to punch your ticket to that second place, now going into or chance through second to first, now with the Berserker Rage, once again, we're going to have self to slice and dice. Not going to find his biggest value this time around. Does find the slash and the dash. And Ship, I mean, they are just, it is a revolving door to the spawn room right now.
Yeah, this is looking really clean. Obviously, TTK moving forward, using that diamond form, but you might be saying, why? TTK is holding charge right now, folks. Make sure if you're playing Emma, you do that. It's very, very smart. Notice how it's still at 70. Was able to get the touch there to buy another 4 seconds before the charge goes down once again. That's textbook, top-level Emma play. Smart play there, as we will see a Royal Flush in just a moment.
Yep, into the legendary. Delina, you want to be a legendary DPS in this scene? Well, now's your time to prove to close off point number 3. He's going to find the best out of Daze. Finds another one. There goes the backline of Porky. Make it 3, Shib. Delina, mixtape on, volume all the way up. He's jamming.
Yeah, really smart there. Good combination, keeping the aggro. Swamp has a ton of ults. They've got to get in there and commit them quickly. But when you're forced to use them early, it might lead to your demise. Daze here up in the sky with the Galactic Legend. Will this work out on the return? The Ruby Rage goes out. That doesn't seem to land either. So a lot of commitment to nobody going down. Millennium going to start off with a C. TTK is trying to get somebody with a Psionic Seduction. Matched right back by Forky in the Invisible Boundary. Still ult advantage from the side of Swamp. And it looks like they will retake this.
My gosh, man, 100 Thieves, we said, needs to win this map. I mean, and they are doing everything for it. This is one of the harder point 3s to cap. Good answer back from Swamp to get back into this thing as Scatter finds the late stagger there as Daze is just going to push on in. 34 seconds. They already know what to expect here, right? The portal play may have been a little bit of a A weird one there on Krakoa, but they have that in the bag still as well. Agamotto as well to do so much of a defensive effort. This is actually going to be a near impossible cap if you're 100 Thieves ship. We'll see if they get a masterclass in.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky. They will have portal play still on and available there, but Vinny with the feast, the goal here is to try to find Valentina if possible with that ult available. It's going to be important because if they get a strong Raging Royal flush here, when they have Kraz as an answer and Scatter with the eye to make a play, there's just a lot to handle, and there's no response in terms of ults just yet. Winnie at 80. Valentina, though, going to be finding the first pick out of TTK. Expect that portal back, and we're going to see now it's just all about stalling here for Vinny, who's looking for anyone to try to get some of that overhealth. Has the moment in his hands. Self, finds two. Says it's not over yet, but the eye of Agamotto, what a counter here. Should be enough for OT to start ticking. I do not believe the portal can get there, and what a defense from Swamp at the last point.
Oh, and it was so close too. Might be blind, but open the eye right into Daredevil there to shut that down. Self getting both, man. If they would have just had, I mean, I'm talking it was a mere second. It had to have been on the way because of how fast TTK folded on the front one. Little sad that, you know, obviously you couldn't have dragged that out a little longer if you're Vinny with that ultimate, but I mean, everyone focused. They knew it. Shib, I'll say though, doesn't matter, buddy. That was a great push. If they want to win this anyway, you can't allow them to get that far, right? That you might as well say that was the full lane. Let's go ahead, do our job, and do what we do best in this map.
Yeah, we've seen far more holds on point 2 than we've ever seen touching point 3. And especially going that far in point 3 is, like we were talking about, you early portal point 3 if you can, just to buy time right outside the door if it were to get there. But yeah, shout out to Thieves. And it's like a really insane attack there. You see the stat line on the screen. And Delena's really showing up here with that combination off the Raging Royal flush, finding 10 finals, Self with 9. And a great job on that duelist role.
Yeah, man, Delena's getting these opening picks so great, and Self is getting those back half ones, right? So it's just a perfect, you know, back and forth duo. TTK, we always know what to expect from him. Obviously, not having the Angela, which is what he does prefer on this map, does stop and slow it down a little bit. Now we'll see what they can continue to do on the defensive side. They played this really good last time, and as they play defense, they like to kind of look into the Adam role and whatnot. Loki sometimes involved in that. Loki's going to be banned at the moment, but hey, they always allow the rogue. They're saying, go ahead and play the Southern BA, and Self is going to pick up the assignment.
Yeah, we talked about that in the pick ban, that Self has been more so the answer to pull out the side of Rogue, who's definitely strong in that team up. We'll see if it works out for them on the triple line, and since they don't have that Wolverine to counter, it's even more dicey. Good copy up there, going to be able to use that Ironwood wall. So we'll see that get placed down in just a moment. Playing very aggro on the front line, but gets deleted out of the sky. Goodbye to Self.
Yeah, just I guess you're just using that res peeking to the fullest degree. And hello, Speedo season. We got the shotgun out as Punisher's been seeing all the glaze on Captain America lately. He's going to show what he can do here from the back line as Melophobia pumping and dumping that AK and finding more.
Backline and the front line, if you will, as we see more pressure and damage. Ooh, okay, I like this angle that they're looking towards up here. Actually, I don't know if you can sit up there, but that would be a spot I didn't know about. Melophobia put some more damage on. You can see that just all charge as a whole. It's pretty even, surprisingly, but Swamp definitely has advantage in this next fight.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, a lot of this is going to rely on Millennia hitting this first ult. And my gosh, I mean, with Winnie down, this is all the responsibility now. Millennia's got to stay alive, keep the team healthy. And you're going to have Vinny do the old try to stay alive thing, which is going to be a little tougher because I know when I play my Venom game, I ban that Punisher. That shotgun is lethal. But TTK, once again, opens up the door with Mother herself, showing knows best as the trans going out early without breaking the shield. There's one choice. Scav's going to back out. And okay, Shib, they reestablished the ground.
Yeah, it's all about taking space with it, or when you use Sonic Seduction like that. Sometimes it's a good answer for things like Star-Lord, like Magic, some of that dive stuff, even DD. But if they don't have that on the team, if they're running something more traditional front to back, don't be afraid to use that to walk forward, force up shields, and just let your duelists do their thing. So great retake of space, but look at the amount of ults here on Swamp. Melophobia starting up Self, trying to get that ult to make a big play. We'll see how it works.
Alrighty, here it goes. All the guns out. Bullets with the name. Forky's going to go in and go up to space on the airlines. There is Self. Finds one with TTK. Delena as more.
Wow.
Can have the red factor Vinny. And that is what they showed last time they fought on this map. All right, this is their hometown court. They know if they could have won the domination, they'd go up 2-0 because they feel so confident in how they play on this favorite map of many teams. But Thieves show why this is one of their best. And they've still got 4 ults to use, though, buddy. This is going to be a tough defense to hold.
Yeah, they did a good job maintaining pressure or presence there. Like, they didn't panic. They held on to the ult and said, all right, we'll win the next fight. But the idea now is Self is going to try to use that last stand to pull Forky out of ult, potentially, if they can force it early with Vinny here. Vinny's trying, gonna land, gets the feast out, looks at the back line, but does not force the boundary. Really good patience from Forky Dog, who knows it's not worth it. Now Vinny is actually going to be the first one to go down. That BRB from Millennia, maybe a little too out in the open there, is going to be deleted as well, and still holding on to every single ult we saw Swamp start this fight with.
Dude, I mean, the Venom is just so tough to play into Punisher. I don't think they were expecting it. You know, Mello doesn't play a lot of Punisher. Cap can always do well. We've seen, you know, him play a lot of that into Punisher at times. The Scatterman finds Self right off the rip, and even with this portal back, falling one by one. Millennia does get that res out, though, which is going to give them a chance, but time is ticking. 1.39. Look at the block, Chip.
Hey, nice body block there. Well done by Scatter. He's taking the height, does have that eye. Could be big. It's launched, and it is landing on the back line. Galena is going to fall. Forky trades with another. TTK takes out Melophobia, but the Sia is now there for Thieves, and TTK gonna find 3. Says not up in here with 30 seconds on the clock.
Time to carry with the K, man. TTK gets 3 down and out, and this is what makes this team different.
Wow.
People know 100 Thieves relies on this front line. On the front line, but the back is heavy. TTK continues to show why he is so scary here on the sticks, as you say best, buddy. We got a Kraken impact. We got the cars ready to pull, but up in the air is going to be the legend of Thieves that took over that top duelist spot for the org. Winnie has the cars to fly. You ready for this one, bud?
Yeah, it is going to launch quickly. The res comes back onto Vinny, who goes down fast. TTK's also out. Not a lot of front line. Delena, though, going to be able to take out 2. It's back and forth here. Great movement to be able to find 2, even through the chaos. 40 HP in a dream here. Still maintaining that. Oh, Psyche lied. Forky going to clean up Delena. This is a back and forth trade fest, but Swamp looks like they're maintaining for now, and Thieves are just biding time, dropping back into a doorway, playing more bunker. They're looking for this. Oh, Titi and Dicey Self is gonna shut it down, and 100 Thieves are gonna take this thing home.
Man, that was the pent-up aggression from Cyclops coming into the game from that Wolverine, slamming down every ounce of that win-back shit. We are seeing the exact answer that we saw last time these two teams met. It was 1-1 at this point. We're here once again. Wow, color me excited, dude. This lived up to the hype.
What a battle here again on Museum. Multiple moments. I thought Swamp was going to be able to push through, but Thieves just making the right decisions, clutch plays at the right time. Well done by TTK there at the end to find that 3-piece. And even better at the final fight for the backline to just stay composed, even after losing 2 Vanguards early. And then the res comes through to bring 1 back, and Vinny was able to hold on. TTK got back to the fight. What a battle here, and this is what we love to see. 1-1 on our first matchup today, folks. We will be right back with you with more right after this break.
좀 더 기다려 I'll be there 쓰러지지 말 끝까지 일어나야 해 어딜 가든지 극복해 힘은 너에게 있는 걸 소리 높여 노래를 불러 작은 걱정 따윈 던지고 최선을 다해 자충을 쳐봐 어둠이 떠 내때까지 아름다운 꿈을 밝혀봐 우리에게 달려서 그 세계 운명 눈이 부신 모든 순간들 지켜내야 해 내게 주어지는 꿈꿨던 너와 나 그래들의 승리 완명해 The fate of the both the world is in our hands 작은 걱정 따윈 던지고 최선을 다해 자충을 쳐봐 어둠이 떠 내때까지 아름다운 꿈을 밝혀봐 우리에게 달려서 그 세계 운명 어둠이 떠 날 때까지 세계 운명 Still fight like the wind and fire 한껏 더 높이 날아올라 누워진 밤하늘을 가로질러 Oh yeah, oh yeah 필요할 때 내가 널 지켜줄게 간절히 바라면 이루어지는 마법인 거야 운명의 소리 들려 여기서 저기서 날 찾으면 달빛이 날 비춰와 시작해야 let's go 어둡고 흘러는 우주 따뜻한 눈으로 감싸나 순간 신비롭게 녹아내릴 거야 좀 더 기다려 I'll be there 쓰러지지 말 끝까지 일어나야 해 어딜 가든지 극복해 힘은 너에게 있는 걸 소리 높여 노래를 불러 작은 걱정 따윈 던지고 최선을 다해 자충을 쳐봐 어둠이 떠 날때까지 아름다운 꿈을 밝혀봐 우리에게 달려서 그 세계 운명 어둠이 떠 날때까지 어디까지든지 극복해 힘은 너에게 있는 걸 소리 높여 노래를 불러 작은 걱정 따윈 던지고 최선을 다해 자충이 쳐봐 어둠 있다 내때까지 아름다운 꿈을 밟아봐 우리에게 달려서 그 세계 운명 눈이 부신 모든 순간들 지켜내야 해 내게 주어지는 면 꿈꿨던 너와 나 그래들의 승리와 명예 The fate of the both the world is in our hands 작은 걱정 따윈 던지고 최선을 다해 자충이 쳐봐 어둠 있다 내때까지 아름다운 꿈을 밟아봐 우리에게 달려서 그 세계 운명 어둠 있다 내때까지 세계 운명 한껏 더 높이 날아올라 내 누워진 밤하늘을 가로질러 Oh yeah, oh yeah 필요할 때 내가 널 지켜줄게 간절히 바라면 이루어지는 마법인 거야 운명의 소리 들려 여기서 저기서 날 찾으면 달빛이 날 비춰와 시작해야 let's go 어둡고 흘러는 우주 따뜻한 눈으로 감싸나 순간 신비롭게 녹아내릴 거야 좀 더 기다려 I'll be there 쓰러지지 마 끝까지 일어나야 해 어딜 가든지 극복해 힘은 너에게 있는 걸 소리 높여 노래를 불러 작은 걱정 따윈 던지고 최선을 다해 자충이 쳐봐 어둠 있다 내때까지 아름다운 꿈을 밟아봐 우리에게 달려서 그 세계 운명 어둠 있다 내때까지 쓰러지지 말 끝까지 일어나야 해 어딜 가든지 극복해 힘은 너에게 있는 걸 소리 높여 노래를 불러 작은 걱정 따윈 던지고 최선을 다해 작품을 쳐봐 어둠 있다 내 때까지 아름다운 꿈을 밝혀봐 우리에게 달려서 그 세계 오면 눈이 부신 모든 순간들 지켜내야 해 내가 좋아지려면 꿈꿨던 너와 나 그래 그래서 내 운명에 The fate of the both the world is in our hands 작은 걱정 따윈 던지고 최선을 다해 작품을 쳐봐 어둠 있다 날 때까지 아름다운 꿈을 밝혀봐 우리에게 달려서 그 세계 오면 어둠 있다 날 때까지 세계 오면
Welcome back, and thank you for hanging with us through the extended break. The issues are behind us, with the biggest moments still ahead with one map each. This is going to be a good one, Shib, because let's face it, man, this is exactly how it kind of played out last time, but we could be in store for another ending.
Yeah, that was a fun one to watch, man. I'm sure the audience feels the same. And yes, shout out to everybody sticking with us. Dr. Strange takes a moment to look through all the possibilities before finding the solution. You know what I'm saying? But yes, dude, it was a blast. Some huge moments, some big plays, and even bigger combined ultimates. I'll tell you that.
We know they just want to hear that Luna song one more time. You know what? Like, should we just do another break and just like throw it on again? Like, why not? Hey,
dude.
Let's go up and throw up our MVP, though, and how that match played out. Obviously, got to go to the TTK. Absolutely stellar performance. And listen, last time, Shib, TTK himself put on the carry pants and got it done in the lower bracket to push them through to get the land ticket. Now doing the same thing in their hometown map.
Yeah, it just seems like he always performs here. It's very much a brawl, Vanguard, like, perfect zone, and he just seems to always succeed. Looked really good on the Emma there. Some massive clutch moments too. That three-piece at the end for them to take point one, or to not take point one, I guess the retake on the defense. It was clutch. It was huge, just as huge as that ultimate at the very end from Self to clean up the rest of the crew.
Yeah, absolutely. Nate, listen, they had an extended break as players too, which could do so much. Like, Remix, what have you cooked up, right? Because the answer back last time ended up being a quick 2-1 on their side. Swamp Gaming, though, has the exact same advantage. Not all the teams flew their players out. Both these teams, though, are all together in person, which is, you know, definitely nice to cook up during these extended times. Taking a look at the stats, man, what jumps out to you?
A lot of things. Self with 13 finals, Selena with 15, and TTK with 12. Gotta be at the top of the list. I mean, having a Vanguard get that many finals, typically it's not the case, right? As duelists just do more damage, and you know, with more range, etc. Big ultimates, but I will say 12 was huge. Emma was a big part of that, initiating a lot of the time, and to me, that is why the MVP came through.
Yeah, bro, and also, I mean, Millennia only dying 4 times, 11 deaths from Scatter and Daze, so like a couple things to highlight on that end of like, all right, You know, and you can't always look at that because there's like the portal heroes and stuff that just like get that extra stats on. But either way, Millennia staying alive with the rocket is all that more important. Absolutely huge there, and just a great flexible strategist backline who has been impressing me more than usual when they do play. Now, we already know where this is going to go. All right, I hate to spoil it. We haven't even been told this, but I assume it's going to be all of the Jolly convergence. This is where Swamp Gaming loves to take it. They're dang near undefeatable at it outside of TLC. Clearly, we won't go there with how that played out. But either way, it was so entertaining last time these two teams fought here, Shib. I expect the same.
Yeah, I think they look dominant there. Again, you're going to go to what feels comfortable, especially at this stage in the tournament. We talked about maybe going to your unique picks. If you succeed there, this is their unique map that they seem to at least do very well at, and they know different strategies. Should bans come through, they got different compositions that they're comfortable on. Yeah, I have no doubt that'll likely be the pick here.
Well, let's go ahead and take a look right now as we throw up the maps in the choice of Swamp Gaming. Again, loser will be picking the map as it's 1-1, and it is going to be at, wouldn't you know, Hall of the Jolly. Now, you know, these teams, they all have the maps of what feels comfortable to them, Shib. And, you know, if you kind of take a look at in the past why this is a map that they like a lot is there's a lot of ways to play it. That first point, obviously pretty tough. But you can approach the second point in so many different ways, whether it be dive, more front to back style, with the third point just being like dang near impossible to get a lot of the times. Like if you get 3 points on this map, typically it's yours.
Agreed. We have seen in the past some OTs getting all the way through, but yeah, it's really, really difficult. The spawn door is incredibly close, and there's really one main entry point besides a massive flank angle that's pretty obvious if you're heading that way, but 100% with you. Very hard to go all the way, and just as you called, we are here now. Looking forward to seeing what the teams will like to do. It looks like Swamp's going to be attacking here as we get into this ban phase.
And Days is already talking, okay, what did I do when everything's going to be banned on my side once again? And listen, keep up the same. We know the Wolverine is going to be out of play, out of pocket. We said 2 things that they did really well last time is they got rid of the Wolf, and then they made it a one-sided rocket affair, right, Shib? And so that is what they want to try to continue to highlight. They were given the Rogue to 100 Thieves. We kind of saw it to success, kind of, for the first little bit. Don't think that's going to be a big issue there. We'll see if they end up doing the same on this side. But it is the Gambit, it's the Wolverine. And, hey, Gambit being the first ban, that's different. We had Mantis last.
That is true. That shakes it up a bit. The Mantis lock going to be coming in here for Swamp, obviously off the back of that Wolverine. I don't think much is going to change here for Thieves. I liked what they did in the ban phase last time more than I've seen as a whole so far into Swamp. And I think Swamp's change here of pace, trying to get rid of the Gambit so they can combine with the Star-Lord, makes a lot of sense because the Lena has just been finding so much value in that combination.
Yeah, Remix is cooking in the lab here. Let's see what he's put together in this big ban phase. That first save going to themselves, and again, I mean, this could open up the door if you want Angela for your TTK, right? Mantis obviously going to be a big hit if that's going to be left open, right? I mean, got to make sure you game plan around it. Now, I will say they're not used to having that available, right? And sometimes we see these teams that get uncomfortable, even if it's a meta choice, if they haven't had a lot of play rotation around it. And that's where these flex DPS, the Speederys of the world, right, can really play a good Mantis. Got to see if that's going to be the assignment for Self. And I expect there not to be as much Daredevil love because of that.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good call out. You're right. There's really just a player on the team. And sometimes it is, you know, for example, Self, who maintains playing like the Ultron, the Rogue, and the Mantis. So it's kind of all over the place. But a lot of the time, like you're saying, it is a duelist that drops back to that Mantis selection. Loki going to be removed here for Thieves as well. Want to try to ensure that that team up doesn't get as... I mean, crystals are so difficult to cut through if they do go to that group comp, which they're comfortable on. I don't think it's the best group map until final point. But it shuts down the answer to every ult.
Oh, this is interesting, dude. I thought they were going to save either the Rocket or the Wolverine, believe it or not, with how Self kind of rose to the occasion. Remember we said that, you know, the comments that were made about Self, and we saw the exclamation point that he just had. Rocket is gone. So you're going to ban the Rocket back right here unless it's saved, which
they're going to save it.
Is,
yeah.
Right? So now what do you do? Okay. Yeah. Hey, you got to get that damage amplification to the maximum. Dude, what in the world is this last 100 Thieves ban then?
Yeah, and this is a super ideal triple comp here for Swamp, like unbelievably ideal. We'll see how comfortable Thieves are running against it or into it. I do think if they are going to run triple, Groot is very much back in the conversation for an answer, but we'll see what Thieves want. I don't think it's bad to get rid of the Rocket. Yeah, I think it makes sense to me to remove Rocket here, just to shut down your options. And I think Rocket's just really good, but I think Rocket's also really good into triple. So it's tough that Thieves are going to allow this through and not have it on their side.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. I mean, obviously, we know Ultron, or Days will be playing the Ultron, and so at least shutting down Forky Dog on the Rocket and forcing a bit of a who's going to play what transition. But what this does, man, and where maybe this wasn't exactly there yesterday with TLC, was Melophobia gonna have to step up big time, right? You're gonna have all the damage boosts in the world. How can you utilize that? We saw energy, maximum damage on the leader of the X-Men, right? Now this time around, we'll see them lock in as defense is first up for the Thieves as they lock in. We get a Thor appearance, the only time you'll see that. And now we'll see how they want to handle this first bit of a point that can really go either way, bro. We've seen teams punch in here quickly and others stall forever.
Stay strong.
Yeah, a little bit more. There's a pretty scary backlines across the board here. It's going to be the exact same mirror of that triple, but the Vanguard line will be the difference. Kraz is very strong on cap statistically. For the early side of Ignite, was one of the top Vanguards in the entire game on that hero. Scatter on Rogue is also getting through this ban phase, so I'm not sure how I feel about it landing. I guess I'll feel or see how we feel once we see what it looks like with that Ultron drone on Cyclops.
Yeah, dude, Rogue's not made available a lot for this team, and Self doesn't play a lot of Mantis, or at least we haven't got to see and witness a lot. So this is a ton of new hero play on a map that definitely favors Swamp Gaming. How will they choose to utilize it, man? As Daze is going to go in with the team. They love to take this high ground, Shib. Very, advantageous for this team in a lot of ways. Obviously, the first Avenger going to get a little bit of distraction going on the inverse high ground. You always want the higher than the high, and that's right side's the place to do it.
Yeah, let's keep our eyes on here. Teams are setting up for the moment. Daze just trying to take that high ground. Melophobia going to go very aggro on this attack and look upwards. No portal play off rip to try to find some value. Instead, the whole team is just able to walk forward without a ton of pressure on them, knowing that it's really about just stalling and maintaining in this comp designed. They're still going to have drones in the major front line. Delena able to find Daze first. Goodbye to the Ultron drone that's going to be on that front line moving forward. Wow. It's going to force everyone backwards. So a good pick in that moment on a priority target.
And that's honestly a first. Typically, Swamp Gaming always gets through this first pick very easy. I know on 100 Thieves last time they did that with really no hassle at all, but Delena was unable to get the pick. He almost gets Melophobia out of there. Staying alive just barely is going to be from the Luna and the ice behind. Now Delena again rotating. He's going to see Craftsman. Look at that headshot precision, just getting rid of that first Avenger as quick as possible. Good rotations. Both teams kind of playing up to their positioning, allowing that point to cap Shib as much as possible before they dive in. TTK with a massive pick.
Yeah, I like this pick here. Shifting over, getting a shield in front, a lot of the poke stuff. TTK on this Magneto. Seeing some more play from some of the top teams on Magneto, even though you can use your laser through the Meteor M. Up goes the Rage of Ultron, matched back by the Soul Resurgence of Valentina. Nobody goes down just yet. Overhealth for Daze, and the side of Swampers are walking forward. Match now by the Dance Lord, but Delena going to be the first to go down from 100 Thieves. A lot of ults are committed as Forky starts up a Dance Lord of their own, but the Meteor M should be launched here. Is this going to be a problem? We'll see as TTK hits the sky. Scatter is able to find Self.
Oh God, season 1 back in the day when TTK always slammed down the jam down, and this is kind of awkward, right? Because Delena now forced to give up the Ruby Rage, has to get the portal, kind of seeing if his team was going to make it, even with the pick going to commit. I like the call. Soul Resurgence up, out, and healthy, as everybody now is going to try to push back. Daze can respond from the skies. Look at the focus on both the strategies to keep him up nice and healthy. And Shib right now, it's the Glortrox. It's hungry. If this comes up with the stomach absolutely full, this will be the easy 0.1 cap to get Vinny out of here. And now this rotation looking a little bit more often than.
Really good play by Mello and Valentina there to get that pick onto the front line of Vinny. Still has that Glortrox as discussed, launching it now, right at the end of time of that shield. Really good positioning as everyone falls, and that will be 0.1 by a very clean Swamp, who wants to keep this momentum moving forward.
Yeah, it's such a good spot for the Glortrox in so many ways. The monster is out and devours the front line and more. You know what, though? Not a bad hold if you are the Thieves. Obviously, having get rid of the Ruby Rage for the portal. We would have liked that to be Vinny or whatever, but either way, 3 minutes, 30 seconds is about a minute and a half better than they did at this point a couple of days ago. We got the bonus up on Kraz. You know why? Is because Venom and that distraction to get those cooldowns out is important, but ever more to get that constant damage. Vinny going to go ahead and be a little bit of a distraction before he hops out to help the backline appeal.
Vinny applying pressure there. Again, onto Kraz. Both ults going to be very close. VC Abyss could be a big problem with that anti-scatter. Going to be the one to find the first pick onto Delena. Vinny drops back, knows the team needs to reset. Millennium with the Rage of Ultron. Only ult available for now, but Forky is incredibly close. So is the front line of Swamp, matching back by a few from Thieves. This is going to be a lot of Qs pressed here in a moment.
Ooh, you got to get that damage amp over to Vinny. Vinny is your time to shine. This point is not going the way you want. You're giving them all the space and pressure, but Vinny can get a huge pop in the back line if able to do so as Millennium comes up from the sky and rains down the explosions below. There goes the show going on as Porky Dog pushes more of the abyss with the damage amp. It's gonna find Winnie. Gonna collapse that symbiote jaws right on top as TTK slams up. Down goes Valentina. Can predict that one ahead of time with nothing to shield that. 2.4, gotta get on the point, gonna give it up here. Thieves give it 0.2.
Ooh, yep, that is a great attack again by Swamp, who seemingly will not let up on the gas, and that's gonna be a cleanup on the rest of the Thieves who are forced into 0.3.
They play this map so good, Shib. I mean, they have such an understanding. To get through that 0.2 the way they do is incredible, and would have liked a lot of different play from specifically there, maybe the front line of what Vinny could have done to stall out. But either way, still have that Soul Resurgence. Delena going over to the Soldier, which is good. This is the point. This is the match breaker. You know, 0.2, most teams are going to make it through, Shib. How can you anchor up in your own hometown of Wakanda to keep the gates clear? Kraz going to get the opening pick. Self has been picked now a ton early on.
Yeah, Millennia going to find Meliphobia to trade that back a bit, but again, the point just moving here. They keep finding their fights so late in on these tracks. Like, you really got to try to find fights earlier if you can, and it looks like Swamp is not allowing that to happen. They've only got one fight on 0.2 that really mattered, and that cannot be the case. So you can just tell Swamp just understands the movement of that front line, the taking that space and immediately committing on the back line before they can even scooch up a little bit. It's like they're controlling all of the pacing here. It's lights out play as Valentina's holding on to that Soul Resurgence, ready to press that Q and walk him forward.
Again, I don't think they were expecting not to have Gambit. This does not get played a lot from the Thieves as the Glarchux comes out. No connections there. They've been getting these picks on Mellow. Would like to see them play a bit more aggressive if another pick comes through. Team is alive. Kraken Impact ready as the Age of Ultron up. Extermination down. Throws it as Winnie has the show. Would like to hold on to it if they can. We damage amp this Kraken Impact. Here goes the Groodle. And they're going to slam down, forcing the show on their side, Shib, but not going to get what they wanted.
Yeah, it's just really smart. Meliphobia again onto Winnie. Scatter with so much space owned is going to find the back line, look back at TTK, and hit the delete button with that punch. Well done again. I mean, it's just back and forth here. Scatter's going to have ult early and steal from that front line. It's going to be Swamp's fight to lose on a very defensible 0.3, so they're looking unreal.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be tough. Obviously, it's going to be a bit of a neutral fight, but on the strategist end, there's no one going to be even close. You're going to obviously have the Rogue ult here to continue on the Heartbreaker. TTK, if he can find at least one strat, and at that, hit Valentina would be a big slowdown for the team. Meliphobia going to find Vinny. Hello, the point, guys, is already gone. What are we doing?
Yeah, I mean, that was the idea there. Super smart play from Scatter. Just use that to stop the Meteor M. I think they must have tracked that it was close to Meteor M ult, so just waiting there for TTK to move forward, stealing that percentage and to not allow him to go in with that Meteor M and find any value. And that's just heads up, smart decision making. The entire play there, the entire walk from Swamp seemed calculated, and I don't think we saw a major slip up. I mean, it's so hard to defend against this team.
Yeah, that's why we said that map too there at the museum was so necessary, right? Because we kind of had a feeling that this was the way it was going to go about. If anyone has a hometown map, every team kind of has one, right? FlyQuest has the Heart of Heaven. This right here is Swamp Gaming's, and they're showing it. Now, taking a look at the stat ship, what's jumping out? I mean, it's crazy because it felt like Thieves were playing fine as Self is going to hover the torch. I'm happy, but they never had a fair team fight at the end. It's 0.2 and 3.
Yeah, I think we've got to show the most just like smart play by the front line. I think Kraz and Scatter need love here. I think Scatter, first off, shout out to the fact that you're running Rogue without the team up. I think Rogue's really strong right now. I think she's even stronger with the team up, but still in the conversation for one of the best Vanguards in the game. Able to get up there, get 6 finals. The whole idea from Swamp there was get the win on the point and then run these Vanguards up as far as possible and immediately full engage the back line. And that ensured that Thieves only had 1 or 2 defenses on every single point. It is so hard to escape from that, and that's just because they're running triple into triple. If you're faster on your Vanguard line with a triple comp and you're able to control the pacing like that, you win the game.
Yeah, and they got a comp that they want. Now, Self is going to be on the torch. You get this nice little roof to hover over. You can go either side, and what you want to play is more of the assassination torch. He can complement any team. If you want to play on the flank, though, that more front to back, it works as he's going to use that cooldown now, get the 2 bursts down, but guess who's looking for him? Bello already knows the assignment. Do not land on those 2 blasts. It's going to be a one-shot KO for the team. Everybody is eyeing Self here. They saw this yesterday from Speedery, man. Meliphobia looking for that pick, making sure none of those strategists go down early.
Yeah, this is one of those characters that you can play well into this comp as your solo duelist. A lot of damage and burst potential, and that's what you need right now as this front line is just, all over your back line, driving back to try to peel for a moment and forcing eyes away, and that's what needs to be done. So it looks like they're trying to find a solution to what has been a dominant Swamp game.
Yeah, and you can peel here a little bit if you want to set in the prisoner, just get the venom off for a moment. Good job from Self. Again, that dive in is your best use with the 5-second cooldown or increase or decrease on the cooldown. It allows you. There it is. There's the dive. That's what I was looking for right there. It's just going to finish off the target. Find 2. Self is doing it by himself on the Human Torch. Johnny Storm finds that value. Now set up the prison, make it tough for anyone to stay on the point. They're all gone. And Ship, it's near impossible to portal back into this because you could set up so easily here on the torch. It makes it just a tough decision to make, but they're going to try right here now.
Yeah, it's coming in that corner, facing away, likely from the targets exactly. Very well done in the portal, textbook. But yeah, no setup just yet from Self, who was trying to focus on Kraz, who was stalling. And there is going to be the backline commitment. Eyes towards that back, and there's the dive. Does it find one? Big strangling prison here. Is able to find 3. TTK is actually going to be on that group, and that's going to do it from point 1.
Yeah, that primary shotgun can be tough to land, but not as hard, buddy, when they're all grouped up together like that. Great job and use of the torch. Again, one of the, I would say, slept-on ultimates as well. The Supernova can go absolutely crazy, especially if you're paired up with not only the boost, but into a strat ult with that. So, Delina on that Ultron. Again, Self typically plays that, but with the complement roll, no problem charging up your Johnny Storm. Let's see how they answer. Can he find another backline pick?
Yeah, there's going to be a ton of ults here. Again, it's that triple backline. They can just charge incredibly well when you do have something like Venom or even Brood in the front line where you can just pump in those heals. Day is going to start off with the Rage of Ultron, looking at Millennia, who escapes for the moment. Nice movement there to be able to hold on through that as it's matched back now. Will this Rage of Ultron find a little more value? It does force out Dance Floor, so that's a net win here for Thieves.
Already as the invisible boundary goes up, and again, as the Torch player, the #1 ban I want is Angela. Such a hard counter to Torch. 1 charged up spear and a hit, you're gone. Scatter gonna be switching over to that smart play, but also gets rid of the Rogue, Shib, where I like the value that you're getting even in the counter pick. So Resurgence on, Valentina focus. As you can now see the Supernova up in the air, and they're gonna try to get the best of it. Nothing comes. Self is gone already. Goodbye.
Yeah, we might see a change up here from Self as they are counter swapping. It might need to be matched back. It looks like Forky is going to be able to find TTK. Swamp doing a great job here, and that just goes to show you how strong of a team they are. They have other picks in their bag. They understood where their weakness was against something like Self on this torch, and they found something to slow it up. And no change yet from Thieves.
This is kind of the problem. We keep talking about this. They answer something, right? They get counter shit, but then they kind of swap too late. We continue to see that in domination early on the second 2 map. Again here, they're going to kind of stall. Delin and Self both died together. That's the time to swap up and get something new. No, they want to go ahead and stick with it as Winnie is forced to get the Soul Resurgent up. TTK going to try to hit this rare group ult that we see from him. Obviously, we already know Vinny, typically that tree. Now eyes on the scatter to try to keep that torch alive, seeing if they can maybe get something rolling. They're going to dive in, just get a little focus on the cooldowns is what Vinny's doing here.
Yeah, it was a good play there. Just going to try to force out Freeze and walk away, and is going to be able to do that and charge up that backline again with all that HP. That's the idea. Strangling Prison is huge from TTK. Going to find 3 off the back of that play, but the stall is still very much here from Swamp, doing a great job making sure this thing does not move far for that moment, and that's the difference right now with Swamp and 100 Thieves. Swamp was able to fight here for a moment. Thieves' first fight was right at this door because of the engage from those Vanguards. Just a little bit of a different play and understanding of this specific map.
Yeah, it does allow you to set up the bunker side of Torch. If you're just going to get the prison out early, and again, kind of just forces, you're going to take an instant of damage when you enter the prison, and you're also going to have that overtime effect, right? But you're really just looking for that first instance of damage and then capitalize on it. Now, we're going to have him kind of dealing with the Venom, which is an interesting choice either way. Daze knows the assignment, though, going straight after that backline. Both fall, and again, as you just highlighted, buddy, they now get another wipe most likely, and that just slows down all that momentum.
Yeah, 1:41 still on the clock here for Thieves. Ult advantage going to be slightly in their favor, but they will have Kraz and Forky on that combination, and we know what a Feast of the Abyss can do when it's empowered by that dance floor. Keep your eyes up for that. It could be a big play on that back line.
Alrighty, so finally we do have a little bit of the change-up, as stated in Millennia, Winnie. I mean, they have all the ults to do so now, right? But again, it's all about that point 3. Typically, teams can kind of force their will into point 2. Minute 39 is going to be damn near hard to match, but at least getting the objective done is what the goal is. Delina on the leader of the X-Men. Let's move, as he's going to try to move forward. Take this angle route. And again, Scatter is just such an underrated Angela. Can just be such a nuisance, man, across the board.
Yeah, and Self and Delena trading up here. Is Delena going to be solo on now? That's Cyclops. Kraz able to find TTK as Self trades with Melaphobia, but again, numbers still there for Swamp, who do have ult advantage. It's going to be a tough one to burst through here. It's anyone's game. It's all about this first pick now, and hopefully you ride that momentum. See who's able to make that work here. Is it pretty much everyone besides Melophobia should have ult by the end of this next fight.
Yeah, maybe play more aggressive frontline wise, TTK, and you know, if you fall, go to the Strange and see what you can do from there. You have 3 different chances, but they're gonna be matched. It's gonna be Affinity War out here, man, with the colors. You're gonna see absolutely crazy graphic cards at display. Lena's gonna get the opening pick on Melophobia. That's what you want to see from across the hit scan heroes. Cyclops get it done. Self now playing a little safe, knows that he needs to keep away from this heaven falling. Just like that, gonna combine the ults, try to find that value ship, but they live through it.
I can't believe that was. I can't believe they held through that. Melania pulls out one with the invisible boundary. The dance floor is there. TTK trades with Daze, or excuse me, finds Daze self onto Valentina. Really good invisible boundary there in a clutch moment to keep people up when they were incredibly low. And now Thieves have the momentum and ult advantage. Swamp used everything. Wow, that was some good heads-up play by Thieves, who were able to stay healthy through some major combinations.
Yeah, here comes the portal play. You have the Feast and the Ruby to put together to see if you can get point 3. But yeah, I mean, they had to use every bit of their strat ults to keep alive through that chaos as well. Here comes the Ruby Rage. Can they connect with the Feaster, combining it as well? Both of them are going to fall. They're going to find 2 important picks at that, but they do lose their leader of the Thieves and the X-Men. One go down to Scatter. Focus on Emma now. So they're going to go ahead, get that pick, and move on to point number 3, Shib. So they'll have the time. Right now, it's about finishing. A minute 39 ahead is a lot, obviously, Shib, but it's doable with how this point 1 works.
Yeah, the security system's down and the windows are open. Thieves are trying to sneak in here and find a point 3, but there is a minute and 39 still on the clock for Swamp after capturing, and they didn't even have that on their full push here on point 3. It goes to show you how strong Swamp is, but can Thieves ride this momentum? They started off hot here in this last 2 fights. If they can keep it moving, they might be able to make it happen into OT.
All right, they're back on over to the row. Like the swap up there from Scatter, especially in the limited skies here. Dilemma, though, gets that backline nuisance, which is going to allow this card to push through, right? So you've got that going for you. Here comes the Ruby Rage. Everybody's in the hallway, Shib. Look out as the paint is red. Limpy going to follow. Self going to find his way to the grave, but TTK farming up that ult. Can't find a combo here.
Yeah, another pick there from Val on to Vinny, and those are big picks. I mean, TTK or Self went down with 99% to ult, would have been crucial, and now they're going to be some ult gain from Swamp to just kind of lessen that gap and make sure they have the answers for the Rage. They're playing a good game right now on this point 3. Swamp is very smart, but look at ults here. A lot to commit, but it can be matched.
TTK getting dangerously low. He's going to lose the ult over here to the Rogue, who's going to try to funnel out the important ones. Both Invis and TTK got low as the show goes on from Forky Dog, trying to put this team into the 3rd act of this matchup. Now let's see that Eve has the Soul Resurgence to match Winnie. When he pushes forward, Self gone as well with his ult. So right now, Shib, they've got to rely on their pure, raw talent. Can Delina find the opening pick from afar, hit him with the Ruby Rage, and try to find that value. It's now the yellow bar.
It's like a game of chicken here. Delano off the back of a strangling prison. It's going to find 4 with TTK. Vinny going to be able to drop Scatter, but there's still time on the touch here. Even through all of this chaos, ults were committed. Vinny and Millennia still are holding on to Q's. Daze and Kraz could be a problem, though. Will they be able to answer back and get here? The touch should be available. All 6 will be ready for this fight. It's all about a 2v2 ult fest. Melophobia very close, too, with that Ruby Rage.
And that visor was open. The fight was closed just like that. Vinny has to nail this beast to the abyss. Can't use it for the survival as Dave's going to throw down from above. Last time to activate Millennia, try to keep the team healthy in this boundary. Got to find a pick here and the value. There goes the abyss. Kraz not going to come up with anything from it. Melo pushing forward. The aggression is to the maximum. Chip at this point, any pick is massive. Swing the 5v6 to TDK.
Wow, that is a huge pick. Walls are up, making it very difficult to get through. Vinny has slept here. Good focus. TTK finds another. Self trying to look towards the back line. The point almost gets left for a little bit too long, but now just sitting on top of it, looking for this pick onto Kraz, who does escape. The walls are still there, but they're playing around them, trying to find the Ultron. Daze goes down. This could be enough here, and it looks like Thieves will take this into OT.
Oh my goodness, man. The Warriors were out, but the Thieves survive and get themselves an OT, Shib, and this is what you want to have on the biggest day of stage 1 this year in the esports scene. America, can 100 Thieves get it done with a full less minute and a half than this team should? How do they roll out these gates? Do they go with the same approach, the torch? What do you want to see from them?
I'm not sure. I think what they've got now, for Thieves on the defense, I don't think they change a thing. For Swamp, I'm not sure if I need a major comp change either. It seems like they try to they made the right changes, I think, on the last fight, but it's very difficult to come out of a door on point 3 when they're fully set up already with walls and really find success. I liked the Rogue a lot from them, so I think that's not a bad decision, but it looks like Angel's going to be the stay here from Scatter.
And we already know how this is going to go. Melophobia, going to get that Glartrox ready to summon from the Pokeball, my man. I mean, how the big difference was last time is Delena got the opening pick across the map on Melo, and then they kind of slowed down from there. They've got to find themselves some type of stagger to slow down, because you're right, man. There's so many dangerous ways to approach this. Expect the high ground. I like the Angela pick here, too. That's a sexy one, as it gives them plenty of options on what route they want to take.
Yeah, this is tough, man. This is crazy. I think both comps have looked strong. I think both teams have looked strong on their attacks at moments. There was, I would say, more issues on the defense for Swamp than we ever. Their attack was lights out. I don't think they needed to change a thing. Thieves were able to adjust. I think the adjusted putting Self over there on the Ultron off the Torch was the right decision. I think the initial play on Torch was nice for point 1, and then it kind of fell off. So well done on them to find a solution on the retake that they never have really done in front of us against Swamp.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, they can see the runway. Just got to land the plane. The Self is going to play above this little coverage. Either way, we'll see how they want to attack this front end. 34 seconds. So the big advantage is obviously the ult economy. They're not going to have a lot of it. So we'll see if the backline is able to farm something up in time and how this portal play will work out to haunt them. Self going to go ahead and try to get those early poke damage. Who can get this first pick from afar? Good rotation right now from Thieves. And I need to push up on this as Vinny now is riding the wall, looking for the backline hit. Here goes the damage amp. What can they make of it?
We'll see here. They're just kind of forming ultimate, a little passive. It's traded here. TTK and Kraz go down.
That's
both
fine.
Vanguards. Just 5 seconds on. The touch needs to come through. They cannot forget about it. Now the touch is there. Should buy them a few seconds. Maybe a portal from TTK. Yes, a portal's coming through. Vinny needs to stay healthy, and it does not. OT falling quickly. Is the portal going to get here? 2 go down. This could be the home from Swamp they needed in this overtime. It looks like it will be, as it's going to be very difficult to stall alone on point. And Swamp are saying not today as they hold in this overtime.
And that portal took an eternity, it felt like. I mean, the fall early from TTK, I thought that portal would have been back in time, but you're right, man. It's just, once you lose one, and then it becomes a time issue, and that is where every second matters right on that cap. Even 10 extra seconds could have been at least another fight and an ult rotation, and now gonna have to play to perfection. I mean, we've only had one draw chip, maybe? Like, it's gonna be near impossible.
I remember it, though. yeah. Definitely on the table, but yeah, I mean, against a team like Swamp, this team just... They do what they need to do, right? They just find the solution they need, and they seemingly stay on top of their game consistently. They rarely make big mistakes, so this is their moment to bounce back. They have plenty of extra time on the clock, because I believe it was overtime for Thieves when they went through. I got to double check with that in terms of production, but Swamp had a minute 30, so that extra time will be here for them.
Yeah, for sure, man. Funny enough, too, I think it was Sentinels and Thieves. Wasn't it for the E-Draw? I feel like it was back in the...
it might have been.
It was last year. Either way, this is an historic map in Rivals esports history and fighting its way once again here. Just like we're at the grand finals, guys. Nope, we are just in match number 3 between these two teams, starving, wanting their chance at revenge. Obviously, Thieves towards Swamp, and even more so, Swamp towards TLC. Now, defense approach. Melophobia going to flex the Widow. I know it might be the joke, the Zaza, this and that, but let me tell you, he actually plays Widow to a good success, going to get that damage amp and try to pop those back 250s. Will he find the chance? Chip.
I thought the change, yeah, just waiting to see if anyone was going to take that hide. I actually really like that play. That's really smart. So the idea there, folks, is look at the top right side, see if anyone was going to peek to try to essentially call out the comp and try to take a nice headshot there, but electing to... play smart there from Thieves. Maybe they expected that could be happening from something like a scrim. The whole team walking forward very quick. Notice this pressure from the front line. This is what I'm talking about. So threatening, and it forces everyone to turn around, giving your team infinite space. Swamp does that like no other.
Yeah, and you can play differently when you have the time, right? You can be aggressive. If you want, you still have another fight. Now they're able to push them almost off the point completely. Gotta watch out. Cannot even give that little bit of space necessary, as now Thieves trying to farm what they can, stay alive through it. Gonna go ahead and pop their key ultimate abilities now. It's Valentina pushing down. I mean, TTK's doing a good job just keeping this point contested at this moment, Chip, but this is looking bleak.
Yeah, it's looking dicey again. Only one tick will do it. No one's gone down yet, but I think it's a matter of time with all the percent base. Goodbye to TTK here. And the Glartrox is available to just push him off the point to guarantee it. Likely going to be the utilization. That should do it. The touch is there, but not for long. Goodbye off the back of the Clark trucks as discussed. Really well played here by Swamp Gaming on the OT.
You cannot bury a team that lives in the mud ship as Swamp Gaming. I mean, hey, it was entertaining. 100 Thieves, shout out to them for making it a little bit closer than it once looked on the offense approach. But man, looking sharp as ever to get their way into that grand finals. We're now down 2-1 and Shib. I mean, that is why that first Dom is ever important, and now could bite the Thieves once again to be their arrest. I mean, 2 back-to-back matches when it comes to Swamp Gaming.
Yeah, again, that was their map. They've looked great in that map, and now the Thieves will have their selection of map coming up here to see if they can bring it to a 2-2 series. Keep it locked right here, and we'll catch you after this break.
청우와 시간.
I outnumber you. Your powers are mine!
Tides will rise and fall. Be the unwavering force that refuses to wash away. Coast undefeated as Captain America's Seaside Sentinel, Loki Seaside Siren, and White Fox's Coastal Kumiho costumes. Available now all the way till July 31st. Does Cap have a slightly larger hitbox in that skin? It's for you to decide. Coast, how do you feel about these skins, buddy?
Oh, yeah, we'll be discussing Captain America's shield size, later on tonight's analyst desk. But yeah, I've seen a lot more White Fox players, Loki as well, and you know, man, it's been great to have these summer skins come into the game. And again, we said this last time. They said on Twitter, they're like wave 1. So will that mean we get a wave 2? We'll have to find out. Now, if you're coming right in, guys, once a year ago, Thieves were kind of the kings of the scene, the standard, if you will, a lot of the ways. But this time, Swamp Gaming is showing exactly why they belong towards the top. And in that grand finals repeat situation against Team Liquid Citadel. Now, we find ourselves on match number 4 in this best of 5 ship. And listen, buddy, I mean, we kind of find ourselves in the same shoes that we were in last time. I think we're going to probably see the same kind of map rotation. They like their Midtown. I mean, Thieves, though, they've got to find a will and a way, because if this goes to 5, bud, there will be a way that they can sneak out this win.
Selfishly, I wanted to go to 5 just because I'm loving how well these teams are playing against each other. They're both stepping up, and they are not giving up by any sense of the word, always looking for something new. But the MVP going to be going over to Scatter, who has played so well, and I think his Rogue was game-winning throughout that whole series, and I'll compliment it again. I think it was the driving factor behind why they were able to attack so aggressively.
No, for sure. This is a player that I highlighted at the beginning of the show as just does not get enough credit for being such a lethal off tank as these teams are getting locked in. And you know, we did talk about and mention, as we will look at the stats in a second here, about them potentially picking Midtown, the Thieves. You know, it's just, again, it's a very solid front to back map, and we already know, funny enough, TTK on the group, but we know that they traditionally love to play front to back and really enable some of the way that they play. But Swamp last time really made it look easy against them in New York.
Yeah, I mean, these stats across the board here, a lot to highlight, but, you know, at this point, it's like, you know, beating a dead horse. It is just, it's all clean. Everybody's looking good. Stats on both sides are matching up there. Delena with 14 finals, right up there with Melophobia with 13. Melophobia's Galartrox at the end, literally game winning onto an ult that came in from Winnie at the very last second. There's so much that I could announce, some huge ultimate combinations, but either way, it was really anyone's fight to lose. And that overtime, I'll say Swamp kept stepping up, but that attack side from Thieves looked very strong.
Yeah, for sure. And Days, got to give it there. You know, that was, you know, somewhat of the weekend in TLC and kind of in the map that they did end up dropping, even somewhat in that domination, but really flying high on Ultron there and against what, you know, Self was doing and what they could do, you know, was going to be tough to kind of handle. But either way, man, I think, you know, it comes down to the chess game, right? Like, how do you handle this pick ban phase? We said going into it, we really liked Swamp's game plan after the extended break. Really felt like they were ready, you know, to roll with the comp that was given to them. And then they took away the Gambit, which was kind of, you know, starting to bite them. How crazy is it, Shib? We went from teams giving Thieves Gambit because they did not fear them to, okay, even Swamp is like, we got to ban it.
Yeah, I think that's a sign of a team that noticed that was a weakness. I think you need to address that. You can't let that go. Anything in the ban phase that comes off as something that teams can exploit, you have to work on. It can't be the situation. So shout out to Thieves for being able to make that something that is now a strength for them. So it's forced to be banned out in the ban phase. But either way, these teams have been downloading each other. These best of 5s have really been exposing some of these weaknesses in the bans and have really been helping teams kind of come with some more unique solutions. I've been having a ton of fun with, man. I really do like these best of 5s.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, each time you kind of extend the series, we continue to see teams adapt better and better. And that's why, you know, BO3s are fine, but we typically love to see how teams kind of adjust, not only the maps that they're comfortable with expand, but that's why like the grand finals are so entertaining at BO7, because there's so many chances to come back and find a will and a way. As we take a look at the maps, we will be going on over to Midtown. No surprise there. This is the Thieves fave.
Yeah, it's another brawl-focused map. At this point, I'm starting to get a trend here where they're able to run things like that Emma, like that Groot, and find success. I do think it's very strong for, especially point 1, for some of that dive on defense, because you have the immediate height escape routes. It's great for Angela, too, although there aren't necessarily off maps. Like I'm saying, it's all about that height for natural cover, and they can absolutely utilize that here. It's also good at triple comps, which both teams have been able to play in that backline. The Atom could come out. This is one of those moments that things could be different, buddy. Any thoughts in major changes to the comps? Maybe that Atom?
Yeah, okay, so last time, yeah, they got to play, Delena was on the Atom a lot, right? TTK was kind of mainly on the Emma. Vinny floated what looked to be like a mystery hero. There's like 4 different roles. He was trying to make the rogue work at first, then moved on to the Groot as, again, more traditional. And Self was, I would say, floating between that Psylocke and Daredevil. When it came to what they banned and picked out, Angela was gone right off the table again. This is going to be interesting, though, because when they open the ban on Wolf, right, do you try to, enable that yourself on your side and kind of go with the same route that they went on Museum Man? I expect to see more of the same. Gambit probably not going to be an option for them, though.
Yeah, I could see that likely being removed on both sides. It's gone back to kind of that flow, although we'll see. I mean, because they did just have Thieves lose to it, so maybe they're not as much. Okay, there's going to be the Gambit remove on Thieves, and they're going to remove the Wolverine. Similar start to what we've seen before.
Yeah, so with this next save, it's going to be more of the same. I expect them to go
Me too,
with
yeah.
what they've had. The funny thing is, though, again, I don't know if they want to play the Mantis, right? But, maybe you will if you have the Adam Warlock this time around, right? Because that's the sustained comp that they like to play. So maybe they roll that. Delina knows and understands his assignment. Let's get that ban on the Rocket, though. Make sure we get some of the essentials. Loki, they're not going to have any of that team up from that front to back, and it's a wise use of the second ban.
Yeah, if they're going to lock Mantis, you just have to do that. Unless they showed the power of that when they were running that combination. They're going to be able to save the Mantis here too for their first lock. It's the new go-to. For a while there, Mantis became the front target, and that might be the case as they head over to Team Liquid Citadel. If Swamp ends up moving forward, or if Thieves move forward, that might change up. But yeah, for now, Gambit's going to be that priority. Wolverine's going to consistently be that priority, shutting down Days, and that just forces with Mantis through the Loki every time to be removed.
Right now, they're like, you can play Gambit if you want to, no worries, because they're going to give one versus the other. So Loki going to be banned. It kind of, is going to play their hand at that save. These are the two that are the most interesting to me, because do you go towards the Mellow, which they've been trying to do with the Cyclops and friends. Nope, there it is. Now, Angela was banned last time from Swamp, second up on this map. So, I think TTK is fine. Emma, as you know, plays fine here on this map. Like, it's going to be one that isn't exactly like a terrible decision to lose your Angela play. This last ban, though, I mean, do you just go with the Rocket?
I think you need to. I think Rocket's not bad unless you really want to go after TTK and do the Emma and kind of force them into something different. If you kind of can force them into, I don't even know, like Thing for the Brawl style, it could really mess with their flow. But I do think Rocket's the right decision right now.
Yeah, so they're going to go just with that. And for the last save, when we just looked at the map they pulled off, they didn't really care to have the Rocket on their own end if needed. Going to save it right now.
They're going to save it, yeah.
And ensure that is so important
Makes
for this
sense.
map, man. Yeah, because, think about how many, second, third fight scenarios happen here, and that res just giving that one more chance to make a play.
Yeah, the BRB, like you're saying, can be the seventh player, but also it's just the Sia right now in combination against triple, and that was the mistake they made last map. I would argue is you want to try to find a way to counter the triple besides maybe running it as well, and maybe not as successfully. Clearly, it wasn't as successful in the last map, even though there were moments where it looked like it. So your solution to that is to have the Rocket Sia, because those empowered abilities, including things even like Cyclops, even Star-Lord if played properly, you can burst through Strategist ult. That is your goal. You want the Groot, you want the heavy duelist ult combined with the Sia to burn through the Strategist while they're ulting and try to find a trade with a KO and remove some of those ults. So it's really the way to play it right now, and that's why the pros are doing it all the time.
That's going to be fun to see what they utilize this, because they have access to the Star-Lord rocket. They're definitely going to utilize that to the best of their ability. Obviously, Swamp is not going to allow the Wolf here, as what Delina gets up. Doesn't want to be on cam. Get me off the cam. He's going to focus in, quickly. Going to be, locking in there. But yeah, I do expect, obviously, Delina to swap the two roles once again, the Star and the Atom. What is Self going to go with here? Because that's the question mark. It was the triple van last time with the Magneto and then a little bit of the Daredevil. Do they float that again? I mean, it's tough. If you don't get that value on Dive Man, it's over quickly.
It's strange because they can run the Ultron. Ultron's not banned out. Self could absolutely run that. Cyclops is on the table. Star-Lord is still on the table. There's a lot of powerful duelists available here if they want to run the triple or the 2-2-2 style comp. And I think if you do get Rocket, 2-2-2 is like a good way to go about it. But you're not going to run like a Mantis Rocket in a 2 comp. You know what I mean? Yeah,
no, exactly. That's why it's going to be interesting to see the way that they want to roll around it. I mean, when you look at what is in Self's hand, because just talking about Self in general, I mean, this guy does have the carry gene a lot of the time. When you have an Ultron save on the other side, it just makes it that much more difficult, unless again, you match it on the other side, but then you're not enabling the dive as much as you'd like to. I think the Wolf ban was actually a perfect answer, because that was the game plan that I think Remix cooked in going into this the most important matchup that Thieves have had this year.
Yeah, I think that's a smart decision too. I'm with you. I'm behind you 1,000%. I mean, because yes, they can have Self run that DD, but the idea behind Ultron as a whole, for folks who don't quite understand just yet, is you play Ultron to protect your backline. He's very offensively forward. You're constantly charging up by dealing damage, but you're leaving those drones on the backline, rotating them to any duelist that wants a damage boost in the moment. But anytime they're being dove, you rotate the drones back, you shield them, and you play with them. You peel them the whole time, because what is DD going to do to an Ultron who has good movement in the sky? Not a lot. So you don't need to ban that out. So I do think the banding strategy here, like complementing what you're saying with Swamp, is very smart.
We can see, I love that we're getting these player cams. Dylan is with TTK working on maybe a game plan or two as these teams are looking to get set, and now they are ready to lock and load here momentarily. But yeah, it's a good point, man. It's funny though, we've gone full circle. We've gone from Coach Fruck saying we don't care about the Wolverine on the side of Thieves to having to establish that ban, my man. And we are here for what is certainly one that we are excited for, to set the stage for the grand finals.
Yeah, it's just like anything, right? You can have a plan to get punched in the mouth. You don't think it's worth it until the Wolverine starts to look scary. And then you say, okay, maybe it is worth removing that. Kind of a problem. So we are going to see this start up now, as you can get a floating idea of the comps for the defensive side. Swamp, obviously, the attack chosen by Thieves to be their play off rip. It's going to have Vinny on the Groot, TTK on that Emma. No major surprise there. Self is going to be running that DD, and then Winnie on the strap pull, which found success yesterday. It's, this could change as they are on the attack wall, but just keep that in mind. It's very strong.
Bro, I love this, because at Museum today and yesterday, Self was like, you know what? I will absolutely rise up to this role that I've stepped into as the new member of the Thieves, and really just shining bright, man. And we'll see if they can get that job accomplished. You get a couple picks and you are rolling. Again, one of the more interesting first point fights. You're always going to get that portal very early on, typically a 3-point fight, or 3-fight point, if you will. Self on the Star-Lord, though, swapping on over. Haven't gotten a ton of that as of late, man. So that'll be interesting to see how they pair that up.
And we get right into it. Yeah, the rotation of the comp here going to be very traditional in terms of just meta. Emma going to be a little more aggro on this map. The idea is to probably try to peel Scatter a bit, but can steal that diamond form, which makes her even more scary. Krasmang already at 32% on the Groove. Goes to show you how fast that can be farmed, especially when you have that Mantis on your team. Self with the first pick up.
Okay, that's exactly what Self's assignment is. Get the Ultron out of the air. They don't have the rocket to get the makeup comp, right? So at this point, you're going to have Days decide if he goes with the Strange Point back and how the team's doing right now. They're pretty healthy at that matter. Hard to take down a big Rogue and Groot comp there in the front line. Going to go rotate over. Good use of that. And Porky Dog getting very close to match the show. Winnie's got to press Q as soon as this is ready to pop. We'll see if they use this aggression like they always do. Here we go.
Yeah, there's the see it from Winnie. Matched right back with the Sonic seduction of TTK. You become CC immune while you're launching that ult, are able to walk right through some of that strangling prison. Able to get the first pick there, as now Daze goes down as well, and 100 Thieves are not relenting. They are keeping this momentum, already turning right around this ambulance.
Oh man, Self is getting some key picks here time and time again, showing that Guardian of the Galaxy be used in more ways than one. Vinny gonna go and set up for the portal here, see if he can find the ult in the back. He finds the whole team in the Ruby Rage.
Wow.
He's gonna find success.
Yeah, that is dirty. That's great ult tracking too, because it's actually, just for those who don't know, if you use Strangling Prison with a Ruby Rage, if they use Invisible Boundary, it keeps everyone healthy. You cannot get a KO through it, so able to understand that it wasn't ready yet, and they find that pick on the backline. Should be enough for them to get point one, but they got to act fast here. Zaletta is able to find two here on the Cyclops, make it 3, and that'll be point one.
Grouped up and gone, man. Absolutely perfect play. Got a ton of Delina on the Clops. Obviously, the last time they did play here, it was banned out when they had that important match for 2 days ago at this point, man. So we'll see if they can continue this up. Gonna have, obviously, that huge team up. One of the more not talked about underrated ones, but comes with so much clutch factor and allows you to play more aggressive, as, I think Peter Quill can play in so many different ways, front to back with the team, farm off the tanks, you name it.
No, it's a beautiful call. I agree. It just fits into so many different comps. And notice the Ironwood wall consistently being hidden here to ensure that he can constantly get that overhealth while dealing damage with his allies and not be CC'd. Not necessarily using it to cut LOS. It's not a bad idea here. Scatter with a dive, trying to pull an ability, I believe. Gets Diamond Form off TTK. Going to be able to use that in a moment when needed. Scatter with that ult available, Melaphobia and Valentina, in comparison to Self and Millennia.
It's a game of adjustments, though, and just like that, Daze is going over as I speak of the Devil. Will be going to the Daredevil to counter what Self has been able to do very well. Unfortunately, they were ready to set up the Rocket, the Guardian of the Galaxy ult combo. Now they can. Rezzed up and ready. Eyes in the sky. It's going to be the hit lock guns. Looking for more. Melophobia going to go ahead and get rid of that Sia quickly with the freeze as well. Holy. Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah, that was some really good movement. I can't believe they were able to burn that Sia. Obviously, it was off the back of using Valentina's ultimate. But wow, Scatter's able to find one on a Millennia. Great focus. Do I see more coming through? It looks like there will be a second and potentially a third. Great engage there, pulling some of that alt charge and all of the stats. Just non-stop domination. Who needs the Gambit when you can play her like this?
Bro, I swear Millennia just got snapped out of there. Like, we saw the vanishing effect, like, from the ult, man. And not only that, they didn't have to use much, bro. Like, they still have 4 key ready to roll. They can damage amp that and get the piece of the abyss there from the Venom. They're going to open up with the Devil. Love that. Just dive in with the Rogue, right? See what you can find from it. Delena throwing out the Ruby Rage is going to find success in the back. Go Feast use those ships, so it is 5v6 at the moment. And they also going to have the res, so essentially 7v5.
Yeah, Vinny landed, I believe it was a combination again with Vinny and Delena, excuse me, off that combination. Just pulling away from Forky Dog's dance floor, which I think is actually very well done. I think just isolated in that moment, and they took advantage of it, but that is a 2-for-1 trade, and they do have the space off it. It likely is worth it, but those are those conversations you have when you're doing some VOD review, saying, hey, maybe we could have got more with that. Daze able to find Millennia here. Make it 2 now. Daze, like you're saying, on this switch, getting infinite value.
Delena knew that he had the big target at hand to go after Daze and could not finish off that elimination. I swear I find more and more breakable environments every time I watch the pro scenes as those pillars fall, and Daze is on that comfort, pick, and hero. Hit that man off the Ultron and let the Devil out, buddy. And if you look at what's available, man, still plenty of time. Got a minute 47. That's a world here when you're looking at it. But man, in Midtown, they've got to get at least a 2.5 point cap against this team.
Agreed. 2 is very, like, you know, it's defendable for sure, so you feel more confident. And I'll tell you what, Swamp is doing a great job not panicking. Again, Daze is able to find Self, who has found early picks in 3 consecutive fights. The amount of value in that is absurd. Daze now still holding this position, knowing that they're going to have to reset. Let them burn this time. Do not engage. Do not overstep. And do not fall at this point as they start off with a Sonic Seduction.
I mean, the blind leading the blind, quite literally, bro. We got 2 of these Daredevils at it and trying to get the best from it. Get the diff going, and just like that, Soul Resurgence and the commitment is coming from Swamp. And again, Scatter finds that quick evaporation of Millennia. Now gonna go ahead and get that res up, gonna force the back. Good awareness from Melophobia. Gonna set up for the Glartrox and look for that opening. Maybe get the trap, set the first. This is the hallway. Looking to go under the tunnel. He's gonna find the monster loose here. Doesn't even need it. He's got the guns.
Yeah, that was once again huge on the back angle. Vinny tried to get the cap in the last fight. Now it looks like Delena is trying to get a single pick, but no, even through the combination, that's 2 ults for nothing. Vinny finds Scatter, but Valentina once more takes out Delena. It has been dominated here by Swamp ever since they got pushed to this corner.
Yeah, that was a common, bro. That wasn't a legendary at all. I mean, that was they're gonna want that one back for sure, and we've seen that sometimes happen with the Thieves, just, you know, trying to get ahead of what is their demise right now. 20 seconds. Got the Devil as well as the Glartrox. It's be very tough to deal with, but you can paint the path to victory. Follow the Avenger into it now as Vinny's going to try to keep the team alive. But man, everything crashing down on the Thieves.
Okay, Kraz able to find one once again early on. 4 seconds on the cap. Needs to touch. Vinny does make that happen, but Daze and Scatter all the while get 2 picks, and this is once again heavily in Swamp's favor on this fight. Trying to stall for a moment. The Porter will not be able to get here. So, okay, maybe now, as they're still making it happen from Millennia on the dance floor, juking to try to stall with Vinny, and now the Porter will come through, excuse me. Yes, there it is. Still on point, but I don't know if it's enough. Delena, though, finds Melophobia, and that might be the case.
Got to keep your eyes on the point here as one is going to fall yet again. At this point, you do have a 4v5. You have to get a miracle pick. Scatter and Venom so hard to take down at once. They're trying to find their opening. Forky Dog finds Winnie. That is going to be the swan song of this point as now Self goes down. TTK to follow. Goodbye, Thieves. You're getting locked up back into the Swamp jail as it's going to be their time on the defense. Ah, shit. I mean, that might have been right there watching the demise of Thieves in this lower bracket run unless they put up a defense of the ages.
Yeah, they couldn't find their momentum again. Swamp, just a brick wall right there against the Thieves. It was, I don't even know the correct way to go through it. They just played perfectly again. You know, finding picks prior to every single combination of ultimates, every single engagement, and then Thieves eventually just got tired of waiting because the ults were cycling from Swamp, and they said, all right, let's just try to make it happen. Even down numbers, they forced out ults. They used their own combinations, and they just could not get anywhere with them. As we can see from this stat line, days with 9 off that switch onto the DD, like you said, was lights out.
Yeah, and that's what we were kind of worried about, right? We're like, you know, can Self rise up to that moment? I got to give Days the flowers here. I mean, obviously, the Wolf Band has been out first each and every time, but to come back and have a performance like that, quite literally, objection from the lawyer in New York. He won every court case, buddy. The hammer slamming down.
Yeah, and I liked this comp. I mean, rarely do you see the Mantis 2 comp unless you're in a composed team like this. Typically, you're going to want to run that Mantis 2 comp when you have something like a survivable frontline like Rogue and Venom. They want to have their own abilities to stay healthy because you want to be able to stall and escape and come back and get the healing slow-paced over time, and paired well with a heavy burst healing strategist like Luna. So really good, unique comp that keeps working out for them.
Do they go back to, you know, the Thieves special where they end up having the old sustain comp to lin it back on the Atom? I mean, that's what you're going to have to do when you can't push far into point 2. At that point, it's kind of left to, you know, how slow can we get things, you know, brought down our speed, our level. It's going to be tough. They got a good first point cap, so they can waste a good amount of time. But the problem is where that point ended up there on point 2 is like, if it could even have gone down the ramp, buddy, they would have had a much bigger fighting chance.
Yeah, it's tough when they're set up that hard. I mean, you saw DD every single fight up on height on the roof, calling out where they were all located, essentially used like a UAV beacon, right? Like just there telling everybody what they're planning on doing, where they're located. And then it was like time after time, an early pick from days before the fight, like we were discussing. And then at that point, it's like, yeah, you could force out ults, but you're likely not going to win it. You're down a number, and they always had an answer. So I just really liked their defense there. That was something, that was textbook for sure.
Yeah, and defense through the offense, right? Like, dude, they were diving the hell out of Thieves. Like, they could not form a plan, man. Like, we've all been there in the ranked games, right? Where it's just like, you just like stop for a second in the match chat. Like, everyone just slow down for a second. Heck, it's happened on Midtown for me so many times because there are so many corridors. You want that hero moment now as Thieves look like they're all getting together, whether it be for an issue or some team morale, as we do find ourselves on a quick pause, and the most important pause for these Thieves.
Yeah, they're likely trying to find a way through this, right? Like we're working through here to get them on the attack, folks. So bear with us. But yeah, it seems like Thieves are they're trying to study up, saying, what can we do? Let's talk through this. Let's group up. Let's find a way through. As you see Coach in the background, kind of giving some discussion. I'm not sure what the answer may be. I think into a comp like that, damage is king in staying snowbally. Like kind of we lost styles really good into stuff like that, where you want to stay as a unit and utilize the fact that you have a ton of brawl and push potential instead of trying to separate and attack like they were doing there, because it was just being dissected by DD in the dive of the front line.
What is this giant image of a girl there on the monitor? What am I seeing over here in the Days game? You know what's funny though is you can definitely see the mental, right? Just is so different from Thieves to Swamp right now, and it's going to be tough. Swamp is going to, if they win this, man, they're going to have a tight turnaround, folks. Faster than even some of our extended breaks to get them ready for what is the final boss of TLC, bud. Like, that is what is, I think, on a lot of their minds. Job's not finished, obviously. But, man, like, their revenge, like, they're hungry. And it was a tale of opposite sides, buddy. Last time when they were in this kind of playoff scenario, it was TLC that got sent down to the lower that beat, I believe it was Thieves, right? To go back up.
I believe so.
Yeah, we lost, I guess. But, you know, they're the ones that had to fight through the lower bracket gauntlet and, you know, keep the hands hot.
Yeah, these teams, they know each other now. I think the secret of these teams is trying to find something different, and we're seeing some more changes in how they play. We have seen this Mantis 2 comp before from them, but it was just executed so well into Thieves, who I think they had a ton of momentum on their comp. You saw their attack. It looked pretty dominant. And shifting like that, putting Days on the DD, you know, using this more damage boost focus on the dive. The backline was not able to get through that door for a millisecond, and that was the game plan, and it never changed. It's very tricky. They got to find a solution. They didn't change. As you see, Val just rocking to some music right now, hyping up.
The vibes are ever high, my man, and you love to see it. I just can't wait personally to see all these teams here at LAN because that is where it's like, new territory, especially for Swamp Gaming. Thieves, most of them, majority have been to LAN before. And, you look at TLC, that whole roster pretty much has the all-star team. So
Sure.
it'll be fun to see them and how they kind of play here on what will be their biggest stage either way. But yeah, man, listen, I think what a big chunk of this is and what they like to do a lot is utilize some of this time to test things out, maybe what they'll find against TLC. But here we go, guys. We, got the Yap session going, but we are about ready to lock in as we can see the scoreboard once again. For those that missed it, we're about to be ready for the action. Here we go.
Yeah, thanks for bearing with us, everybody. As we start up now, Thieves obviously on defense here, need to hold them before halfway through point 2, which is very difficult indeed. Swamp Gaming with the momentum in their favor. Look at those stat lines across the board. Most going down 3 times, and even so, finding 17 finals there. So still clean play by their side. We'll see what they're electing to use out the... Oh, it's going to be the exact same comp. At least that's what they're showing so far.
Man, it's crazy because, as an org, Thieves are just, they're always so close. They're always getting second. They're always like right there at greatness, and whether it be at LAN or here, or even within the roster, there's been change and they want to find themselves at the top of the throne. But Swamp is the new standard that they've continued to set, at least here as one of the top 2. But as you said, buddy, yeah, we got the Stalling Cup success train coming aboard. And, having the rocket is going to help that even more so, which I don't think they had access to last time they ran this with Delina. Delina's just so good, shit, at staying alive, baby.
Yeah, for real. Absolutely no doubt here as we start up the attack. There is going to be... Wait, this is definitely a change I didn't expect. Melophobia is showing the Hawkeye. Same story, though, as actually, now that I'm thinking about it, is what they were doing prior. Trying to get a pick out the door, staying healthy and looking for a snipe outdoor to set them in their favor. Electing to switch once that didn't work out while nobody was peeking. So instead of using the Widow, there was going to be Hawkeye. Gaze finds Winnie, and that's a huge pick because goodbye to the BRB.
That's as big as a pick opening that you can absolutely get. Yeah, and that Hawkeye coming out, you can mark it down on the hero counter of who's made an appearance at Ignite, even if it's just a second. But look at, they have just a relentless shit, finding every bit. Hey, sustained comp of my monkey's uncle, buddy. They get 3 down, 4, and now this is going to go from a 3 fight point to, 2. They're going to get the portal here, try to get the best they can from it.
Yeah, this will help them get to 3 fights, but it's an absolute avalanche right now from Swamp. They are just snowballing all over their team with heavy dive pressure, forcing this backline to be dicey, and now they are going to switch it up here. Self is going to be on that Mantis. Winnie on the strap pool. Millennia on the Invis. That's the slight change. Vinny trying to hold on, but Scatter going to find a 2-piece on this Rogue. Cannot be stopped on this hero as Daze and Kraz, Melophobia again, find ever more picks. Down in all percentage, too. This is going to be Swamp's point to lose.
A full-on rogue robbery, bro. That's the Thief right now, just stealing easy .1, and this is looking like what will be our last look of the Thieves until we see them on the big stage, or they will put together an absolute fight of a lifetime for the next 5 minutes, folks. Strap up. We got Delina cracking in, pack ready. TTK now over on the Forest. See if they can continue, because the only way they're going to find success is exactly what Swamp did to them. Muddy up the back line, find some picks. Millennia's going to start that out on Valentina.
And with this Glartrox is available from Melophobia. It's been hungry before, and it has found success. Will it work again? Kraz with the engage, looking for a potential feast. Instead, going to pull out cooldowns and reset with the team. Try to get it out the door. Millennia takes out Daze. The engagement here from Delena, and this is a character swap that is needed. This hero will help slow down some of this snowball. Very smart decision. Looking like it might find another, but no. Val says not up in here with a nice sleep to clean up.
The sleep from downtown, man. Hit the tranquilizer and the end of that Kraken. But Villain's been getting some big picks. They're going to continue to do so to really keep the team alive. Oh, man. It's tough. You got the Soul Resurgence going in. The Groot ult's going to come fine with it. TTK landed a big one, but can you get the capitalization on it? The Abyss does not find anything. It is absolutely hungry. This Venom is. And, man, I agree. I think the Bucky is a good way to stop the road. But, man, there's only so much space left.
Yeah, I think the swap is good, but it might just be too little too late. Winnie with the dance floor. Scatter able to find Self. Numbers are dwindling. They may look like they have a ton up, but they're all trying to run back to this point. Daze drops to Lena. Vinny doing a great job stalling here. This is what I want to see from Venoms across the board, but I don't don't want to see that from Venoms as they go down, as they try to escape. Either way, really good stall. I think they get back here for another touch. They will. It's going to be tough to get through. As, again, Melaphobia with a big Glartrox should stop all of this momentum.
Yeah, you win this fight, man. You find a way, but Daze is going to say good night to this Thieves run in the lower bracket finals. Shiv, it's Swamp Gaming out of the mud and into the grand finals.
Wow, what a freeze, what a hold. They never didn't have it on that attack. It's that simple. Swamp was locked in with a huge freeze to stop TTK on the touch, and Swamp Gaming will be moving forward into the finals for a rematch against Team Liquid Citadel.
Brother, that was copy and paste from the exact same matchup the other day. Close domination. Museum of Contemplation won. You could say was a teaspoon more of excitement there on match number 3 in Wakanda, but Swamp really, they have these maps locked down, in and ready, the comps as well, and you gotta give your tip of the cap to the Thieves, but they are gonna be settling for 3rd place and seed. They're going into LAN, which is only gonna be an uphill battle, buddy. But you know what? We've seen in the past, what was it? Envy had the 3rd seed last time. They ended up doing okay. It's gonna be tough though, as now we find our set of the best 2 teams in America.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a blast to watch. Shout out to both teams for putting on a show for us. I know Swamp, job's not done. I'm sure they're nervous. I'm sure they're anxious. We'll get a moment here to chat with one of them in just a bit for a short while. But MVP, we're going to be pulling up here. It looks like it is going to Forky Dog on that back line. Played flawlessly. Not much else that needs to be said there.
Yeah, you know, we'll give the MVP to Forky. My MVP has got to be Daze as well, man. Just stepped up to the plate because that was the big answer yesterday and a little bit of this early day as, I mean, you know, we didn't get to see any Blade, all right, but the classic DD, the lawyer, got it done. But yeah, give props to Forky Dog, having that rocket out, can't be played, stepped up on the show as Luna.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you're going to be paired with a Mantis, you want to have heavy healing numbers. 31K here for Forky, next closest being 25. So it goes to show you can kind of make up for it if you're playing a strong Luna. And Forky absolutely does just that. 69.1% accuracy is insane, dude.
Oh, I know, man. I gotta say, that is ridiculous. Are you kidding? It's like saying to your cloak and dagger standards. Like, what are we doing? But man, let me tell you this. Like, if people are not aware, the last time in the grand finals that Swamp and TLC met, it was, and me and Shit both quote, one of the best rival matches we have ever seen. Dang near at least the top 2. It was cinema, down to the wire, last play, overtime, and BO7. I expect the same. I know we saw the 3-0 result from up above last time, but man, this team's looking locked in.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing the thought process of how to bounce back from that, right? It's definitely a hit to the mental, right? You take a little psychic damage when you lose like that into a rivalry that you've had for quite some time that you've been pretty evenly matched on, right? Back and forth. So definitely looking to hear about that. But this team, especially in this matchup, looked so back in form. I have no doubt that they could ride that momentum and make it very tough here for Team Liquid Citadel to win, and they might be able to take it on themselves.
It's funny, too. One of the few teams like utilizing this Elsa to large success. I mean, dude, I got to say, the amount of time that a Glartrox was ready and just like, you stay in that Pokeball, I'm going to just use the guns. Like, I don't even need it. It's crazy. It's like a penny ult to him at times. You know, being able to just use what is great about Elsa, and that's the crazy kit, the passive, and more.
Yeah, and we looking at some of these stats, I was just glancing at them while we're chatting. Scatter with 13 finals on the Rogue. Scatter is one of the few folks playing Rogue without the Gambit around. It just goes to show you that Rogue is a huge problem in the right hand. So much movement, CC ability, the copy, obviously the stealing of abilities, using your ult to shut down strategists so they can't have an answer all the time. Like, just a ton of playability and playmaking potential, and Scatter almost up there with duelist levels of finals, being one behind Daze and actually over double Melaphobia. Although Melaphobia played lights out, I don't want to shy on that anyway.
Yeah, no, for sure. I highlighted at the start of the cast, man, the fact that yesterday, you know, Scatter had 37 finals compared to even Melo having 40. Like, as a off tank is completely nutty, man. As we take a look at the final stats it did in the stage, look out for Delina and the Charmander meme on the Twitter saying, so close yet so far away, man. But it's all about Swamp Gaming right now, Shib. And again, just so much to highlight.
Yeah, the shout out to Thieves for letting them go. Obviously, we're going to have our eyes on Swamp and TLC looking forward. They played great out there. Definitely looked like a team that has been learning and trying to match up to the talent. They step up in the playoffs, and we will be seeing them again at the LAN. But Swamp, story back on the GOATs climbing right now, looking to battle the other GOATs in a final best of 7. Across the board, stat-wise, looking great. Swapping to any team comp necessary. This team has no weakness right now. At least it has not been fully identified besides their kryptonite, which could be TLC.
I mean, listen, man, you could take it all the way back to the start of this year and the preseason and what we saw as the two dominant teams here in America, and who is going to be able to put up quite the fight against EMEA and the rest of the world at LAN. And it's Swamp. I mean, Swamp has done such a great job, and it's the same two that we see at the top. We've got an awesome interview lined up with Valentina Eve, the vibe machine, as we saw even during the breaks. And, you know, first, just got to say, welcome. Congratulations, Valentina. I saw the vibes. The dancing was high. It's always going to talk to you. How you feeling going into the grand finals?
I feel amazing. I'm so excited. I can't wait. I'm like so ecstatic. It's gonna be such a good game.
Love it, Shib.
Yeah, first question I have for you, Val. First off, yeah, the vibes were high. It was awesome seeing you guys enjoy the moment. It was just so different. It showed the confidence that your team had. The question I have is about Mantis. You're running the Mantis in the 2 comp. You're killing it on the Mantis, one of the Mantis goats. Walk through for the folks that are watching. How do you play Mantis in a 2 comp, and what's your priority?
Well, actually, I just kind of like pocket my tanks. Like, where most Mantises would pocket their DPS or their Ultron, you just saw Scatter just roll them down. Just completely take control of the fight.
Yeah.
And cross. It was so fun. And, like, obviously the music is the best. So, listening to music and just having good vibes is what really made us play well. And I think we're ready for anything. Absolutely ready.
What are you listening to? What do we got going on? Is it the Luna song? I hope not. But what are we listening to?
Britney Spears.
Hey,
what else am I gonna listen to?
Get a little toxic. Get a little toxic up in here. You know, it's all. I love it. I mean, I've got to ask this. I mean, it's been so fun to follow your journey. I mean, going back even to Dreamland. I mean, it's like I've continued to watch you evolve as a player. You've made it now not only to LAN, which I did get excited with you yesterday. By the way, congrats on that. But now the grand finals. Like, how does it feel for you as a player that's just, you know, tremendously evolved into one of the best strats in the game?
Oh, that's so sweet to hear. I can't believe it anytime somebody ever says that to me. It's like so amazing. And thinking about my journey, God, I love Dreamland. Dreamland was literally a dream, and everything about Dreamland was just so perfect. I love my team, but Dreamland will always be my home. That will always be my home.
Oh,
It got me here.
love it.
That's awesome. I know we don't want to keep you too long. You've got a huge match coming up here. Last time you guys win it, well, first off, we've seen the crazy battle with you guys last time in the championship. Looked a little bit different over the last match you guys went against them. Kind of walk through the learnings. Is it a VOD review situation? How does it work after a situation like that when you go down 3-0?
Well, we definitely looked over it a lot, and we talked about it a lot with Fox, and we got everyone's opinions, and we obviously didn't reveal all of our tricks. Cool. Obviously, we had to keep the best for last. So there will be a lot to expect in grand finals.
Awesome.
Well, we expect nothing but a game 7 again, down to the overtime as last time. We don't want to keep you too long. I know A, you celebrate, but B, job is far from finished. So I know it's not long. We'll be seeing you, and hopefully we'll see you again on the winners interview to end this whole stage 1. And again, congrats on the lower bracket
I
final
hope so
win.
too. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for your time.
Bye.
Appreciate it. Shib, that is Valentina, the one and only. Britney Spears, man. Britney Spears. You know what? I can see it now. If you put the music over it, yeah, you know, I got it. Love it.
Yeah, I mean, this team looks so good. I love top-level rivals. I love watching these teams do what they do, seeing these comps that they're running. I love the idea of pocketing a rogue, which like she was saying, the amount of finals and damage Scatter was putting out, I understand it. If you damage boost the Venom in the front, that all becomes far more threatening. There's a lot to it, and these teams are figuring out solutions. They're figuring out things. They're creating metas, and I love to see it, for sure.
Hey, man, and listen, last time they're the ones that beat TLC and maybe like used a lot of their strategy on that early game, but we already know the most important one is this grand final. So maybe they were testing things there, and now they figured it out here going into that matchup. But they're quite literally saying, hit me, baby, one more time. Folks,